His brothers and sisters in blue stood on the steps as Officer John O'Keefe's blue casket was carried out of the church, his family following behind.
He made time for everyone. He really just honestly had the biggest heart, honestly, in taking in the kids.
O'Keefe took on the role of raising his niece and nephew after their parents died several years ago. It was a role O'Keefe's family says changed his life.
It goes to show the person that he is. He has a huge heart. Like my family said, he would give you the shirt off his back. Just a really amazing guy.
This 16-year veteran of the Boston Police Department was found unresponsive in the snow outside the Canton home of another police officer during last month's nor'easter.
I can only pray that my family gets the answers they need.
Last week, O'Keefe's girlfriend, 41-year-old Kare Read, pleaded not guilty on charges connected to his death. During a court appearance, prosecutors say the couple had been out drinking the night before, saying when Read found her boyfriend in the snow the following day, she questioned whether she'd hit him with her car.
Outside this courthouse in Canton, Massachusetts, supporters swarmed around Kare Read, charged with murder in the January 2022 death. You're alleging that law enforcement officials in this state committed murder and that they're covering it up. Why would they want to be involved in this?
Because he's dead. I think things went too far. It was late. There was alcohol involved, but they're all family. And there's many of them involved.
Attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
And no, she didn't do it. No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't.
I tried to save his life.
Yeah.
I tried to save his life at 6 in the morning. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life.
Why'd you admit to it?
She didn't admit to it. She didn't admit to anything close.
It was like 3 or 4 times she admitted to it.
No, she didn't.
That's not true.
She asked a question. She asked a question, which is very different. She didn't admit to anything.
Did you ever feel you were overserved that night, as they say?
No.
Later, Karen and John were invited to the home of a fellow Boston cop. Neither knew him well. What happened next is disputed. Karen says they pulled up to the house and she waited in her SUV while John went to check things out. She says she watched him go to the door, put his head inside, then nothing.
I texted him, I called him, and within minutes of him exiting my car, is not answering his phone. Minutes.
She drove home, fell asleep. When she woke early, John wasn't there. She went out searching, and 6 a.m. found him lying unresponsive in the snow and bitter cold in front of the home where she dropped him.
His eyes were swollen shut. He had blood dripping out of his nose.
She blurted out her thoughts as first responders arrived.
Did you say, I wonder if I hit him? Did I kill him?
I said, could I have hit him?
The Massachusetts State Police concluded Karen did hit John. Argued in the car. John got out. Karen backed into him, hit him, and drove away.
John walked into an element of hostility in that house.
He has argued in court there were people in the house who had a troubled history with John.
John O'Keefe got out of a car, walked into the house, was sucker punched, fell, hurt himself, and then ultimately his body was moved.
Read was feeding information about her case, not meant for the public, to Kearney, who posted it on his blog. According to state police, Read, her lawyers, and Kearney have publicly denied being in contact, but documents claim they'd been in touch for months, even meeting for lunch, saying Kearney texted a friend of Kare Read saying, quote, "We had a great time." State police say Read had used a friend to get Kearney unreleased documents, photos, and grand jury details, but say when that friendship went south, she started talking with the blogger directly, saying the two shared 189 phone calls, talking for more than 40 hours.
We love you, Aiden!
That theory picking up steam after controversial blogger Aiden Kearney started talking about it on his blog and in videos, until he was jailed last month for witness intimidation.
He's not interested in the truth. He's interested in subscribers. He's interested in selling subscriptions. He's made a lot of money doing it. You're probably all paying him to do it. And that's fine. If you want to be deceived, look, and half the people in this country do want to be deceived. We've seen that. That's what they enjoy.
There's no cult. There's no crazy following going on here. This is people seeing on a mass level that something fucking stinks, and that the people responsible for it stinking don't even care that it stinks. They're just walking around, pushing people around with a big brown stain on their white pants.
Shut up! We love you, Karen. Right here, 100%. You got it.
I was about to do it again. Hey. Okay. Hey, I saw my Montana Jade. I wish I'd seen your live today. If you want to come up, the link is pinned. Hey, Queen. Hey, everybody. Hi, Catherine. Chaos, do you have a wrench? I tried to give you one. I don't know if it worked. You got one. Okay. That's right, Nicole. Hey, voice. Hey, Gray. Who else? Hey, Patty. Joneson. Christina. How many people? I don't want to be glare and go. How many people are familiar with the case? Skip to Malou. Hey, Shauna. If you're familiar with the case, put a 1 in the chat. If you're kind of familiar, even just put a 1. Nobody ever does this when I ask, but humor me. Hey, Muffin Mouse. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Devious. Oh, y'all are being great. Hey, Sweet and Spicy. Okay, it's going too fast now. Irish Badass is in the house. Thunder. Ellen Pickle. Queen Bee. Hey, Curious. I haven't seen you in a while either. Awesome to see you. Branson, girl, I see you. Okay, good. Looks like a lot of people. If anyone wants to come up and help me with hey, Ellie, or just sit up here with me while I go over everything, it would be great. You don't have to stay if you don't want to, just whatever. But what we're going to talk about is, one, the Commonwealth did kind of an answer to the dismissal by the defense. And I don't know. I think Karen did it. I think what got her the murder charge is probably going back. They had lunch. Yeah. Well, that's in the, and I meant to go over that the other night, and then I didn't feel like coming on, but yeah, they did a lot of things, and a lot of it is in this Commonwealth document. Didn't I solve this? Did you solve it, Cordy? Cordy, oh my God, I love you. You're so funny. I love funny people. Oh, somebody's coming up. Hey, Cassie.
You're so funny. Let me mute my.
What happened? Wait.
I did. I got it.
Okay. So now I lost my train of thought. Anyway, the search warrant for the phone. First thing is, how did she know they were coming to get her phone? Because she took off, went to Florida. And I know she has like a cousin or something that's a lawyer in Florida that kind of advised her at first. And then, what was it, 2 weeks? She came back?
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole thing. And now in the Commonwealth's answer, or whatever it's called, I have to read in a minute. They're saying, she says, Turtle Boy intimidated her. Mm-hmm. Go figure. Because I would have never thought she would be that kind of bitch, but apparently she is.
I was going over that filing, just a little while ago. In fact, I messaged you to see if you've seen it all. And
I've been busy.
Yeah. And I seen, he made sure he highlighted the part where she said that he was intimidating her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he'll probably flip on her too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they have a lot on him. And his phone messages and all that. I really think they've probably got everything and all this. He's a journalist and she's a source. And yeah, you think she is a source, but you're not a journalist. You're a what the hell just happened? You're a activist.
Yeah, well, that's questionable too.
Well, he's an activist for her. I mean, there's never been unbiased.
Right.
And of course, I was like that too, but I was a blogger. I didn't call myself, a award-winning journalist because me and the bartender down the street got an award in the local paper. So
I don't know. I think you didn't do too much research on that UFO site, Area 51.
Oh, why you got to bring this up?
I thought you know what I thought he did? I thought he just used a different video and uploaded it, and edited it and put himself in front of it. I didn't think he was really there either. So
he wasn't
like
in Area
upload.
51. He wasn't. You can't get into Area 51. It's not a bunch of gold mines and
yeah, I know.
Well, maybe that's how he tunneled out of the facility through that gold mine. How do you know that? He could have been like Shawshank Redemption, getting out of Area 51 through that tunnel. How do you know?
He made a response to you on his community tab.
I didn't even read it. I mean, I read I was half awake.
Stupid.
I got a call saying JLR was coming out. I mean, that's been 2 years that he's come at me. But so he linked to my video. Thank you, JLR. I appreciate it. And there were a lot of comments about I'm jealous, I'm his whatever, but I didn't even think it was bad. I mean, he did lie.
Yeah.
Taylor's not stupid. He knows the difference between where he was. He wouldn't dare go to Area 51.
He couldn't get through all the fencing and the gates without him being surrounded by 10 officers,
No. They have what they call them camo guys, I think.
Yeah.
They're guys that wear one time there were going to be like 2 million people going. It was a group thing. And I think 200 got to the gate. I mean, it's a military facility.
Mm-hmm.
And he's out there, look, this looks like a gold mine. And
I was laughing. I was like, are you kidding
stand
me?
on this mound. Good grief. Hey.
And people take him serious and people are giving him compliments. Oh, he's doing so good. Look at what he's doing. He's a clown.
Well,
he's a clown.
He was okay. Look, I have been watching kind of his border coverage. Like 1 million people have done it, but he's out there and he's got people that enjoy him going out, and he was fine. I mean, I think he's been doing fine for months. Obviously, he has a lot of people. And then I saw that and I thought, oh God, he's going to revert back to saying he's doing shit, because really that's kind of dangerous for people to think they can just get right in there. Hey, Rambo.
Well, in fairness, some of his border patrol coverage is pretty awful too. I mean,
not for people that are
the military sending all these tanks to the border and they're
Well,
shipping
they were.
all this stuff via truck or
Right, but
trains. They always ship trains down there. That's just common.
Right.
He was making it out to be more than it was. He was twisting
I
it.
know.
Just being,
I mean, obviously you're pushing the Biden agenda. That's why you're going at him, just like the comments say.
That's what you got me.
oh.
Poor
Oh
Biden.
my
I
gosh,
don't even think
I laugh
like
so hard.
the same these conspiracy people with this case, they're all like,
They're all the same cult. They're all part of the same
okay,
cult.
I'm not going to call them a cult because that's ugly, but yeah.
Okay, I'll say it. You can disavow me.
I'll agree.
You can disavow, just like how Kare Read's disavowing Turtle Boy.
Yeah, she saw him coming. I mean, she saw it written on the wall. But,
a sucker born every minute. He walked, when you walk into the room and you don't see the sucker in the room, you're it. And fucking Turtle Boy is it, bro.
He was it.
that stands right across the forehead.
Well, he didn't really do anything bad. I mean, I was joking him. I've joked him for 2 years. But what he did is,
that's how I took your video. I took it as, I didn't take it as you were trying to attack him or anything like that,
Yeah, the title might have been ugly, but JLR, he used to do that shit himself. I mean, that's what he did forever, was trolling. He was proud of it. But I just started watching him going, when are you going to get there? And then I started thinking about what was the name of the highway? Intergalactical. What is the name of the highway that you go down? And I thought, oh God, he's looking for his dad. So I kind of tried to make a joke out of the aliens, but I ran out of time. Okay, so
did you read? Wait, off topic, real quick. Let me get this out of the way. Did you read the docu dump that SF investigates?
Yes, that's why I thought, man, you got a lot of balls coming over here right now with your other problem. Maybe I'm a distraction.
And Betty had the nerve to rake this man and this lady over the coals because FS paid the filing fee for her federal copyright. But yet JLR was funding her lawsuit, not Betty. Betty's not paid a dime. That JLR did that. Betty said it in her own words to her emails to the police officer.
I know, I read all of it. You know, I think that might be why she was so mad at him. Because she feels like he put her in a pickle and told her, because I've heard him say it a million times, yeah, you just file on them and then they lose sleep and they have to pay all this money and you just keep filing things. And, you know, it's just a pain in the ass. That's all. Go ahead and file it. And now
he paid for it. He paid the $309.
I know.
She got some, what a hypocrite. She's going to call somebody else out for this, because the woman just didn't have the money in her situation.
You know what she did? Here's how, man, if he's still on probation, and I think he is until September, I'm not sure, but saying he could have been responsible for taking that money on Venmo, that could turn out bad for him.
Very bad.
Yeah.
She blamed SF for that. She did videos on it. She filed a complaint against his PA license in Tennessee, blaming him for that. Yeah, the second complaint she filed, she told them that he hacked her Venmo on personal servers. Then she turned around in that paperwork to that police officer saying she needed all this evidence for her ongoing civil case.
I read that part, yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with her ongoing civil case. These people aren't connected to it.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
So what did you think? What did you think of like the whole disavowing? Do you think you really think that Turtle Boy's going to turn on Karen? Do you think that's
gonna
happen?
Yes.
Because he's looking at a lot of time.
He needs to do it rather quickly because I think she's getting nervous and she may be one of the ones to try to get a better.
And I think the Commonwealth, I think Ladle or whatever his name is, Lala, I think he.
Brendel.
No,
you mean Turtle Boys? Oh,
no, not Turtle Boys. Everybody calls him Lala or Lolly. Anyway, I think he might have slipped that in just on purpose.
And on the swab about the arm, like the location where the supposed bite location, he's like, there was no dog DNA there. We tested no canine DNA. We tested. He threw all that in there, just like because he's like, oh, okay, you wanna secretly show all this information out?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it now. How do you like that?
Well, when did that happen? Because I heard them ask about it, but I didn't know they had actually tested it.
I read it. That's why I brought it up during that whole debate with the glare, because I read it somewhere and I forgot. I heard it from
right there.
Yeah, and I read not from that document, but I read it from a news article, and I heard that area was tested and there was no canine DNA.
Right,
and I couldn't find that section.
There's probably going to be a lot of things that the defense isn't going to tell you anything. They're not going to make a big deal out of anything that inculpates her. I think that's what it's called.
Implicates her?
No, well, inculpate. Like explicate. You read it the other day when you were reading something. But anyway, they're not going to. I love chasing truth too, Cordy. Have I mentioned what a lovely person she is? So, yeah, they're not going to bring out anything that's going to make her look guilty. But this case is no different than a lot of cases that are, So I got to read this real quick. BHB is busy giving She's out there still in Livingston. That
Yes.
is a godforsaken place out there. Well, yesterday I heard her saying, well, what about the mother? And the mother never answered the phone. Well, the mother didn't even have custody of her. The Aubrey Cunningham. But she went to the press conference, and the sheriff or whatever said, someone asked, did you find a backpack? Because it had been mentioned earlier before the press conference. And he goes, we're not going to give that out right now because, blah, 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 the same old thing. And so she turns off, or the press conference is over, and she says, yeah, well, you get it here first. What we know is they found her backpack. Well, that's why you're not a journalist right there. No one else is going to report the backpack but the idiots. They have a reason why they don't put that out.
Yep.
Did they find her?
Not that I'm aware, but Betty did do
it either.
She did do a short live or upload, whatever you want to call it, saying that the coroner was called to the scene, but I haven't seen anything about that.
I know she needs to.
So I don't know, but I don't know.
Cordy, I was corrected by chasing. Well, see, at first she did like Turtle Boy, and and I did which I feel bad, but I did a video about it because I couldn't believe she said she liked him because I had watched all the crazy shit he was doing. Yeah, and then I don't think she knew about a lot of it. But she had followed him in another case. Channel concept and name for you. Heels in the air, Freudian clips. Freudian clips, I like that. I might change my name anyway.
That's a good name, actually.
Let's
see if that's used. Freudian clips.
That is a good name, though. It is.
I love it.
His brothers and sisters in blue stood on the steps as Officer John O'Keefe's blue casket was carried out of the church. His family following behind. Too tight for everyone. He really.
I was writing that down. Freudian clips.
That's a good one. Actually, that's a good name. Shit, you better get that right. You better start a channel right this second while you're
right now.
while you're alive. You better just start running because someone's stealing that right now while you're alive.
Freudian clip. Can I even spell Freudian? That's the problem. Nobody will know how to spell it.
You could put that's true. That kind of speaks volumes of the.
Cordy, does she still say she's nuanced about it? To me, the defense, well, they don't have to put on a case. They don't have to prove anything.
They taint their case, man.
It's too much. They went too much.
They should have just kept. I don't know why they showed all their cards so early. Because all this stuff
Jackson, all these people, and I said this before, Melanie Little, Jackson, for some reason, his big pundit career tanked. And I don't know if it was because when he was defending Weinstein, or maybe it was the other guy, he was being awful to the girl that had said, it must have been Weinstein. And he was like treating her like shit on the stand. And I don't know if he just, ruined his own career, but I think that's what he wants. And you're probably not going to see him again. I think he's going to let Yannetti.
I think he did a disservice to his client. I think, honestly, if he would have just said that it was an accident and kind of did that, maybe the jury would have acquitted at her because they might have overcharged her. You know what I mean?
Right. But that would have just taken Yannetti. Really, Jackson has no license to practice here. He probably got on to Yannetti, however they do that. But Jackson's not going to take some small town case that it was dead for a year.
Yeah.
I think this guy McDonough that Glaire's had on and some other people have had on, he says he was on the golf course and somebody just told him about it. Well, he was probably on the golf course with Jackson or somebody. I don't know. That whole thing is weird because Natalie not only sent documents to Turtle Boy, she sent everything to that guy, that McDonough. Do y'all know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the DEA agent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah, I think the whole thing just is a disaster at this point. It's a disaster of epic proportions. I'll be shocked if Karen doesn't get more charges for witness intimidation. I'll be shocked if the lawyers don't get reported to the bar. This is a disaster.
Look,
there's no way she can say she wasn't aware of any of the stuff that's been going on involving the witness intimidation in this case. They were too, they were too close. And Turtle Boy thought he was just untouchable because he'd been getting away with this crazy behavior for so long. He didn't bother to keep anything real secret. They got his phones. They got his messages.
Yeah. Hey, Katie K. I'm surprised. Hey, Catherine. I'm surprised they went through. I don't know that they went through his yet. I think they were going through Natalie's, and because they have to, somebody else has to go through the phone and separate the, like anything he's talked about with his attorney.
Yeah. That's true. I think they're waiting. I think I haven't heard anything about them, like anything going through the phone yet. And I think they're waiting to separate what might be attorney-client privilege and what might not.
Well, they have them all. They have all his electronics. They will eventually do it.
Okay.
If they haven't.
I'm not going to read word for word the Commonwealth, but I'm going to go through it. So I found this thing that helps you highlight, and I made a big mess.
Are you saying that it has more yellow in it than fucking Big Bird?
Yeah, it's like someone took a bird crapped on my pig.
Yeah, Sesame Street.
It sounds as bad as mine.
It's like all yellow at this point. All you need to write on the top. This is really bad for Karen Read and Turtle Boy. This is a disaster. The dog DNA is basically kaput. The Celebrite guy is testifying against the defense. He's basically saying that, their whole 227 is fucking torpedoed. There's nothing. This guy is kaput. It's bad.
Oh my God, what is going on? Okay, Amber Alert. That's my freaking phone. Okay.
That was actually like telling us how bad it was. This is that was red alert for the Free Karen Read movement. It's the red alert for them. And Turtle Boy's crying in jail. He's just crying.
I wonder how he must be feeling right now.
He's like in jail. He's in jail crying.
Yeah, but he's in county. He's not in, no hardcore.
Well, I tell you, it's not going to be. I think he'll turn on her. I really
do.
Yeah. I'm going to put the child of the alert that I just got.
Okay.
Okay. It's in Texas again. God.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching this. I shared these videos today on all the indigenous women and children that are missing and nobody ever even mentions. And it just really.
Oh, there's too many. I mean, it's
oh my God, it made me sick to my stomach to think that how can you not be? That should be. It should be. That's just come on. The numbers are through the freaking roof.
Okay, the end of this says pants, but it won't let me write pants because it's too long. Irritating. Yeah, there's another one I was doing a bunch of research on. Okay, there you go. Her name is Monica Carmichael. Yeah. Oh, no, Melissa Carmichael. Have you seen that one? Yeah. That's a weird one.
Very.
Yeah, I did a bunch. I might do something on her, but okay, so we're going to I'm not going to read it word for word. But I made a little video that goes with it. What did I do with it? It's right here. Okay. So this is Commonwealth's opposition to defendant's motion for sanctions and for disqualification of the Norfolk County District Attorney. So it's to sanction Yannetti and Jackson, right? And Oh, no, it's the opposition to the Commonwealth being sanctioned. Okay. So this is the Commonwealth in the above captioned matter submits the following opposition, what I just said. I hate reading these things. Should be dismissed because of a statement made by Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey. So their argument is Morrissey should have made that statement because it ruined their case or something, right? 6 months ago when Morrissey came out.
Yeah, I get you what you're saying.
Okay, well, I didn't
the
even...
the press conference about the GPS
Yeah,
you're talking about?
help if I share the fucking screen. Here we go. There we go.
How many more delays do you think there's going to be before the trial actually starts?
I don't know.
They're going to delay that shit as much as possible.
Because she's just waiving her right to a speedy trial.
Yeah, she did.
Just now.
Yeah. And I thought, well, isn't that a little late?
How's she doing it now?
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand.
Because she doesn't want to go to jail, and she's
but the speedy trial was like in 6 months.
Well, maybe she's hoping to die of old age before she actually, because that's her plan to die of old age before the trial. You know, who knows?
Stop it, Courtney. I don't get it. I just heard that like in the background listening to whomever, but speedy trial is like not a year and a half.
Yeah, I think they just did it because they're hoping the FBI comes with some sort of like information that like helps them, because a lot of people are wondering what the hell is this.
I think it's just so I keep hearing people say the FBI has no jurisdiction, but I've also read on I think it's the FBI website that if it's the murder of a law enforcement or the death of a law enforcement officer they haven't determined, like it's not a clear accident and it's not a clear murder, that they can investigate without permission. So I thought maybe that's what it was, because they're not subpoenaing law enforcement officers, which you would think they would for a grand jury. They're subpoenaing, I can't say that word, subpoenaing everyone that's in the case. So I'm thinking they're just doing the same thing. You know, Yannetti acts like he's all buddies with Josh Levy, but I don't think so, because he lied about what they said. Oh, he doesn't even think he would be, he doesn't even think they should go to trial. And it's going to embarrass Morrissey.
I'm sure Kare Read would like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was guilty of, I wouldn't want to go to trial too.
Thank you, Courtney. Now I love you more. Yeah, I'm sure she has to think right now. But anyway, what I was going to say before, I think the reason they upped it to murder is that I think they found something like a ring camera or something. When she went back, when she said I was looking around for like 20 minutes before she went to Jen's house, I think she did something, whether it was put his phone back or something, which would have shown that she was malicious, maybe, that it was when she hit him, it wasn't an accident. I think speeding backwards at 26 miles per hour might do it, but
yeah, that would do it. That would do it at 60 something, I think 67 feet backwards. Yeah, that would do it. You know, and then
they were drinking, they were fighting.
Yeah, I mean, he had told her he wanted her to move out, according to the niece.
She screamed in messages like profanities at him, and all that stuff. And
I think I've seen that before in cases where they keep texting the person they killed.
Yeah, like just like kind of like
they were alive.
Or they're just like, fuck you, you forced me to do it, type of deal. And they're just cursing them out. And and she's drunk, like drunk as a skunk. She's 3 times the alcohol limit. But you know what's really gets like, I would have
Go ahead.
I would have sympathy for her. I would probably say it was an accident and stuff like that. But the woman maliciously let a mob of people harass a 17-year-old kid and innocent people and did nothing. So I have no sympathy for her. I hope she goes to jail for a very long time when she gets convicted. And and I hope Turtle Boy too, because these people harassed innocent people that they weren't even arrested. And
in the very
including
beginning, I felt like maybe they overcharged her, and maybe it was because of the alcohol. But as I got dug into it and more happened and was coming out, kind of changed my thoughts.
Say that one more time because I was lost in thought.
Okay. In the beginning, I thought, no, well, maybe they overcharged her, and that maybe it was an accident with the drinking and everything. But then as more and more kept coming out and more things were happening, it totally.
But in the beginning, they charged her with manslaughter and leaving the scene and being drunk or whatever. It was not murder. And then they came back and upped it to murder.
Yeah, they did the test. They said all the alerts and when you're backing up work, everything works on it. So obviously she would have gotten warning if she's backing up into an object, and she just went forward. But of course, it was probably, according to Lana from Truth and Transparency, he
oh my God.
He had to really pee badly, ran up and down the stairs 3 times.
Yeah.
Then got attacked, or according to Cordy, maybe he got beat up and actually got hit.
Oh God, hers were hilarious.
They were having a quickie while everybody was downstairs, and she was up in the bed waiting for him, and he ran outside to pee with the dog.
Or according to Cordy, maybe like Karen Read hit him with the car, and the dog tried to save his life by trying to drag him.
I know, God, I was laughing so hard. I always go back and read the comments, so don't think I don't see y'all.
Oh my
God! In all honesty, when they upgraded the charges, if all this Turtle Boy stuff didn't happen, I really think that, just in my opinion, that I don't think the jury would have convicted her of the more serious charge. But now, this is all going to be brought into the trial, and yeah, she kind of messed herself up.
Yeah, I have no sympathy for her. I hope they throw the book at her.
No sympathy for her.
I'm particularly going to laugh at Turtle Boy when he goes to jail. I already told this.
I feel sorry for him.
No, I don't.
I'm
gonna start a live. I'm gonna start a live when he goes to jail, and I'm gonna get a picture of him.
Don't you think at first he thought?
Yeah, he did.
He's telling me the truth. I mean, why would she lie to me about the grand jury testimony
and the FBI? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a picture of the Turtle Boy, put it on the screen with bars on it, and just laugh for 5 minutes.
If he didn't know right off, if he didn't know right off of the bat, he knew shortly thereafter, and instead of correcting it, he tripled down, and then he participated and did the harassing.
Well, and if he would just have said, "I'm an activist with my bullhorn," you can just say that. Not you're a journalist when the title of your very first article is what is it? Something cover up.
Yeah.
That's not unbiased. So, but yeah, to keep saying I'm a journalist, I'm an award-winning journalist. Well, I can give myself an award. Okay, so they're saying it should be dismissed. Could someone kind of watch? I'm trying, but on the chat, because if anybody has a question.
Yeah, I'll watch chat.
Or wants to say, you're wrong, bitch. That's good too. Okay, should be dismissed because of a statement made by Norfolk District Attorney Morrissey. So that's what he's saying. And then over the past 2 years, evidence sought by and presented to the Commonwealth has not shown any credible evidence that another individual is responsible for John O'Keefe's death. None, no evidence whatsoever. And what began, can y'all see this? Did I? Yeah, I did. What began as Attorney Yannetti representing the Stoughton District Court in February 2022 that the defendant lacked any criminal intent in a motor vehicle accident has filed. Okay. like any criminal intent in a motor vehicle accident has spiraled into a national conspiracy, because that's what Yannetti first said.
Yeah,
right?
he said on TV. We saw the record. We saw it.
Right.
The news.
That there was no. My dog is snoring, so there was no criminal intent, and then it became a national conspiracy, as we all know. Upon the defendant's variety of flawed, she's sitting there, just coming up with this shit all by herself, and the sealed grand jury testimony really gets me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bad. Shows she has no conscience. She has no. And also, when she went in the bar and she had the drink, was it Nicole? One of them said she pulled the drink from under her jacket. But I thought they said they saw her walking in with it, not under her jacket. So, and I just read that today somewhere. But B-Tim, I was going to tell you that Sean McDonough was on Yellow Cabin about 6 months ago. Somehow it came up on my feed and I thought it was recent. And he said, yeah, did you see Truth and Transparency? Talk about the timeline. Boy, that was great. She did a fantastic job. Oh,
you mean he was on the Yellow Cottage?
Yeah, because I believe one time Yellow Cottage was kind of a free Karen.
Yeah, they were on the
other beginning. And he changed his mind later on, and he got harassed. Right. He still gets harassed to this day by people. But he changed his mind based upon, because initially when you look at it, like it happened to me, when you initially look at things and you don't know about the information, you really do think, oh, there's something weird going on here. But then when you start reading it,
Right. Well, my opinion has kind of changed. Well, at first I thought, Jen, that's weird. All the phone calls, but that might be, I don't know, maybe there's an explanation for it. But the piece of red taillight, and maybe it's because it's so in my head now, but it kind of, the only cover up I might think is it's like the OJ glove, or was it the glove or something that they planted after the fact? Oh my God, my dog. You know what I mean? Like just to make sure, just to put something in there, but I don't know, because it was on his shirt. I know they didn't do that. So, but I don't think they killed this man and put him still alive in the middle of the.
Yeah, I'm not buying that
thing. I can't buy that. In response to an extraordinary degree of relentless harassment and intimidation of nearly every witness associated with this case, which included a July 22nd, 2023 rolling rally of nearly 100 people traveling to witness homes and calling them murderers, on August 25th, District Attorney Morrissey released a recorded statement, which I am not going to play, that cautioned against he was just saying, knock it off. It's enough. And didn't they say he lied in there about Proctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it or wasn't it a lie?
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I heard that, like, because they were saying that Proctor has some sort of really close relationship. They were at a wedding. But the thing is,
one wedding 12 years ago, or 2012. I don't know.
And if you listen to Kopfendorfer on Court TV, she outlines what the relationship, and it's like brothers, sister, something, friend,
friend.
Yeah, it's pretty far and distant. And I think another reason is, one of the charges, the conspiracy charges that Kearney's facing for looking up the license plate. I believe he got that because they saw Proctor's car parked at McCabe's house. And I think he had someone look that up. And that's why he's facing that charge.
Oh, I don't know. But I did read, when I was going through all the different things today, that Proctor did go to the house.
Yeah.
But I think it was, does someone know in chat? Are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But if there's a document, I have them all pulled up. And just tell me so I can get it settled one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly 100 people traveling to witness his homes, and it was awful. Morrissey released a statement. And so that's what this is all about. they want to disqualify or dismiss or whatever they want to do, all because of a statement. Anna Renee, why did you put sick of idiots? Are you that sick of idiots? I had to get off last night. It was just too much. Sometimes true crime just gets to you, you know? District Attorney Morrissey's statement was also an appropriate response under the blah, blah, blah to rebut the prejudicial effects of the defendant and her counsel's misconduct. Under Massachusetts Our Professional Conduct, blah, 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 a lawyer may make a statement that a reasonable lawyer would believe is required to protect a client from the substantial, undue, prejudicial effect of recent publicity, not initiated by the lawyer or the lawyer's client. See, I would have to read that like 3 times to figure out what the fuck it said. The lawyer may make a statement that a reasonable lawyer would believe is required to protect a client from. Okay.
Basically, my understanding is like if there's something prejudicial out there that would affect Karen Read, they can rebut it in the court of public opinion.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's my understanding of that particular statement.
Yeah, could have just.
But not just start throwing shit out there like a dog and start throwing shit to create public opinion that favors your client.
Well, and there's something further down that addresses that, like when it's proper and when it's not. And hey, Andrew, you're not Andrew. But there's something that says it only counts like it was a Supreme Court precedented case that he's trying to use, that the defense is trying to use. Anyway, further, District Attorney Morrissey's statement was made in response to an August ABC news broadcast where Attorney Jackson, Attorney Yannetti, and the defendant sat down in an interview. Okay. And I'm going to play and stop this. Here we go. What happened? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Nope, not yet. Can I do one fucking thing right? It would be great. Okay, here we go. Why am I not seeing it? It's StreamYard, but it's not showing on my share. Okay, what's going on? Oh, is that it? Okay, here we go.
Around Karen Read, charged with murder in January 2022 death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, Read has strenuously denied the allegations.
I did not kill John O'Keefe. I've never harmed a hair on John O'Keefe's head.
Her defense, bare-knuckled and bold, is making national headlines. Her lawyers alleging in court documents that a fellow police officer was involved in O'Keefe's death and colluded with other people in a...
So at what point did they do the DNA testing, I wonder? This was May 3rd, 2023. And this happened February 2022. Do y'all know? Nobody knows. Do you know when you read the article, Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, was it a while ago or?
I mean, I've heard. I read the article I was reading like the glares. I was reading something. I couldn't find it again, so that sucks. But
right,
I heard.
Yeah,
I'm not sure of the timeline when they started the testing. I did hear like Yellow Cabin Tales talk about how he believed that there was, that they were doing testing and they sent it to a lab in forgot the name of the lab.
And the hair is human. They just don't.
Yeah, they just haven't performed a test on, like, I don't know.
The DNA test.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough of it, or if it's like, they're waiting for the defense to get someone that can also watch it. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, here we go.
Cover up.
This is supposed to be going with what I'm reading.
You're alleging that law enforcement officials in the state committed murder and that they're covering it up. Why would they want to be involved in this?
Because he's dead.
I didn't get that. Why would they want to be involved? Because he's dead?
Yeah, there was a couple of takes.
Right, but I think what she's saying is, like, why do the feds want to be involved? It's like I said, in certain law enforcement cases, they'll get involved.
Mm-hmm.
So he died. He's an officer, so I think that's why they're involved. I don't think it's what everybody thinks it is. We're going to know soon enough, so.
I think things went too far. It was late. There was alcohol involved, but they're all family. And there's many of them involved.
After posting bail, Read has spent much of the past.
She's such a bitch, I swear. Oh.
18 months.
Tell us how you
in
really
and out of
feel.
Court, awaiting a trial date.
And me and my family and my attorneys and
Okay, watch at the end of this little speech she does. Watch her face.
team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Prosecutors allege
Oh,
that
it
Read
wasn't that
hit O'Keefe with her car after getting into an argument earlier in the day, leaving him to die in the middle of a snowstorm in January 2022. But Read says she had no reason to harm her boyfriend.
I would call him the patron saint of Canton. He was just very selfless, frugal, and
Frugal. That gets me. Like, that's important to her. Like, not walking on the beach and, loves puppies, but he's frugal.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that didn't care for John.
The couple first dated in their 20s and reconnected more than a decade later in the middle of the pandemic. So how did you meet up again?
He had reached out to me on Facebook and he said, "Hey, blast from the past, how's things?"
I love you too.
And when I saw his picture, his profile picture was with several young children. And then it triggered my memory that his sister and his sister's
That was a cut right there.
husband had passed away. And he told me, yeah, I have the kids now. I admired that. I thought that was amazing.
Soon, Read says she became part of the family, often sleeping over at O'Keefe's house.
Okay. Someone is holding this picture up and she's kissing it. Like, here, kiss this picture.
And helping take care of the kids.
He would go to work and I would stay with his niece and nephew. All of the breaks that the kids had, we did something.
But their relationship also had its struggles. Reeve says O'Keefe had been relying more on her to take care of the kids and that he criticized some of the decisions she made with them.
We had an argument on New Year's Eve. We were away on vacation and he became incoherently drunk. And I ended up ringing in the new year with his niece and nephew. John didn't come back to our room till after 3 a.m. So that was rough. I felt very much taken advantage of. He apologized profusely for what happened on New Year's Eve. And he said, if you can't get over it, then you need to spend some time at yours. I can't keep up.
And she probably felt taken advantage of when she had to watch the kids anytime he was gone. You know what I mean?
I mean, she probably felt taken advantage of when John wanted to continue partying and not go home when she wanted to go home. And,
right.
And she felt taken advantage of, taking responsibilities of these kids while he's drinking and partying. And that might have flared a little anger. Let's just say that much.
Some resentment. Yeah.
Apologize. I don't want to keep rehashing this.
A few weeks later, they were invited to meet up with some friends at the Waterfall Bar in Canton. And there, they ran into Brian Albert, a fellow Boston police officer who Reed says O'Keefe looked up to. Albert had led the city's gang unit before commanding the fugitive apprehension team. It was the elite squad responsible for...
Why do they have that man's face? Oh, because they're arresting him.
...taking down some of the city's most dangerous criminals, and featured in the 2013 TNT show, Boston's Finest.
1 minute we're walking around, everything's fine, and then 1 minute it's not fine.
Both times I met Brian Albert, he seemed like the type of person that you'd be surprised he's out socially because he doesn't seem like he ever wants to be there.
But at the bar, Reed says there was an invitation to continue hanging out at Albert's home.
I said, can we make sure we're welcome here? Nobody extended the invite to me. I didn't hear the invite extended to you.
They drive to the Alberts' house. What happens next is disputed.
So I pull at the foot of the driveway. It's snowing. John has no coat on. It's windy. So I drop him off. He goes up the driveway and approaches the side door. And as I see him approach the door, I look down at my phone.
Reed says after about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think the coat is important. Like something about that coat that she would even pointed out. Like he had no coat on. Why would that be important to say?
Yeah.
There's something with the coat.
Waiting in her car, she became irritated that O'Keefe still hadn't gotten in touch with her, and she drove back to his home where she continued.
Why wouldn't she go to the door?
Well, that would be common sense. I mean, we're talking about a lady who accuses a group of people to beat up someone, have a dog attack
Right.
them.
She's very self-centered. Like,
I mean, you would think that someone would, like, you know, walk to the door and say, "Hey, how you got? You know, I'm gonna go home, guys. Is everything good with you?" No.
or if you saw him go to the door, just go home. Obviously, he didn't come back out, you know, but he didn't go in, so that's all.
From the very beginning, her story, I don't know why they were all partying, they're all police officers, they were all partying together. Why would she be so red flagged about going to their house for an after party?
Oh, well,
I think okay, so Nicole is Brian's wife, right? She went home early because she had a migraine. Then
yeah,
Brian, Matthew, and Jen, who were the other adults at the bar? Brian, Matthew, Jen, and the other people, Julie Nagel. I don't have the list, but I don't think it was like a party like people keep saying, like because they were asleep like in an hour.
Yeah.
You know, I think they just.
I mean, and besides the fact that she changed her statement like 3 times.
Yeah.
And this is the third time that she changed it.
I think it was just friends going and maybe just having another drink to top off the night, or even a bite to eat or something. I don't think it was this big to do.
The answer is chat that says, "BTM, just curious, but I'm laughing my butt off, wondering what kind of defense the Glare is going to have over this shit." Well, most likely he's going to say that the DNA people are part of the conspiracy.
His brain right now is a hamster wheel. It's like,
how do I?
You can tell.
He's like, he's like saying to himself, "How the fuck how do I get out of this one, guys?"
Yeah. I cannot believe he even thinks it's true. Like, there's no way.
I mean, like, you know, like he should have been like stating like, okay, she's overcharged, or there's you know.
Well, he always, the caveat is, now I could be, he never really marries, or maybe he does say she's innocent. But
no, he said it. He's been pushing like he believes those are dog bites, and he says he laughs at anyone that believes that those are not dog bites. Now, if you believe those are dog bites, then you really do believe that there's a conspiracy that this guy was killed.
Okay,
I mean,
so now we know they're
not. I totally
not
believe Turtle Boy is 100% innocent and being set up.
Yeah,
I want him to come out and just go, "Fuck Karen Read."
Oh, I'm gonna lie. Well, he's not gonna do that. I mean, that talks gibberish and he just makes no sense, but he does lately give some outs. Yeah, that's because he sees the writing on the wall and he's realizing that he can't. He's been painting himself and so he's kind of creating an out just in case.
Well, there was one part of the search warrant, I think, where he said, "Look, I'm going to need something more with this," because he wasn't kind of believing one part of it. And that's when she told him that they had testified Colin was there. And then he ran with the whole, which wasn't true. He wasn't part of the fight. And why would you hold a grudge against a 17-year-old when you're a cop and you've had way worse stuff you've had to break up.
Well,
You know.
I mean, obviously the kid was part of some sort of mafioso family in
Right,
Boston
and then it
that was controlling everything.
You should have heard.
Antonella?
On the other,
the theories were just the things that were being stated. It was just
bad.
insane.
Even Yellow Cabin, when I was watching it, when the McDonough guy was on there, they were saying there was like a drug ring and Colin was part of it. And then the other night, it's been about 5 nights ago, Kevin says he had been on the phone all day talking to sources and talking to McDonough, and that Kare, it's now come out that Kare had called 911 like at 5 in the morning. So where is that going to go?
Yeah. Anyway, I got to skedaddle for a bit. I'll see you around, Heels.
Okay. See you
All right,
around.
hey, see you later, Beacon.
He's so excitable. I'll see you around. Okay, so here we go.
Calling him before she says she fell asleep around 1:30 in the morning. She then says she woke up before 5 a.m. He still wasn't home. She then started canvassing the neighborhood.
So she went back. She admits it.
She knew exactly where to go.
Huh?
I said she knew exactly where he'd be at.
Yeah. So she went canvassing everywhere they had been because she thought, like, what was in her mind? That he was going to walk home rather than text her?
Yeah.
Like he was so drunk. She didn't go to the house, which would be, if I were that upset, I would knock on the door. You know, is John still here? I can't get a hold of him. It's going to voicemail. You know, did you kill him? Whatever.
Drive around in the 2 square miles that we.
Yeah, he'll. And I can't read all of I'm not ignoring anyone because I have my phone sitting here.
You need to read the comments?
That's what I was saying. If there are any questions or, comments that are about this, but Hillbilly Nitro said, I thought she was saying she didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I didn't hear her say that, but I don't doubt it. But here's the thing. So you go home, you're drunk, you get out of your clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you put your pajamas on or not, you get out of your clothes. Well, she went and met them in the same clothes she was wearing the night before.
So she never got out of her clothes?
No, she never. Maybe she just passed out. I don't know. But
Arnold Renee says, didn't she allegedly go back to see if he was still there?
That's what I'm saying.
How realistic was that?
That's what she just said. Before she went to Jen's house, or even, I think before she even called Jen, she went driving around where they were that night for 20 minutes. So I think she went back to the house. Everybody would have been asleep at, 4 or 5.
Right.
And I think she knew, she had to know he was dead at that point. Or hopefully he was, and she didn't leave him again alive. And then she had to start thinking, what the hell do I do now? I think she's just.
I would love to know what info they got off the cars. Little black box, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kevin was saying they have the black box. I haven't heard it called that. Maybe they're calling it something else.
Yeah.
But I know they had cameras like at a church, a library, and maybe a church. But they're going to have a ring camera. If she was driving around for 20 minutes, they have, and again, the defense isn't going to put out everything that's going to make her look guilty. So they could have that in discovery, but we haven't seen it yet.
Seating night.
After 20 minutes of unsuccessful searching, she called John's friend, Kare Roberts, and Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law, who was also at his house the night before.
And what I don't get is she apparently lived with John for most of the 2 years they were back together. Jen and Matthew had been friends with him for like 9 years. And I think they lived close to them. How did she not have her number?
Yeah.
I don't know how she wouldn't have her number. And she had her niece call her.
Yeah. there's just too many things that don't make sense. But this question is, how does that not prove culpability? Or I guess she's claiming not to the location.
Well, I mean, I think she's going to say, I drove by.
Yeah.
You know, but that maybe she covered him up with more snow, you know? I mean, I think something happened that malicious. She had to do something besides just drive off.
Yeah, I think it all happened because she was very angry and they were fighting. Alcohol was involved.
Because otherwise she could say, I left him. You know, have you ever gotten in a fight with someone and let me out of the car? You know, or you told somebody to get out of the car or whatever. And then she felt bad. She could say this. I felt bad, so I was driving back to get him and hit him. Well, call 911. That's the other thing.
It would have been hours since you hit him and you hadn't heard from him and couldn't reach him. I think I'd have been panicking.
Right. So she goes back, sees him, because she saw him the second time. She saw him an hour later, like in a half a minute. And they said, even the first officer that showed up said he had a hard time seeing the three women standing there. So it had to be dark.
So how was she able to exactly find him up off the road, up in the trees?
Yeah, that's a
total darkness.
Because he was located, they said, 12 feet in and between the flagpole and the fire hydrant. Well, 12 feet in is in the trees. I mean, it's right there in that area. So people leaving, and only two people, and I don't know which way they went when they left.
Or Cordy says she didn't go by the library. Cordy says she didn't go by the library. She went the other way, but the defense can say, oh, she's not caught on camera. Hence how they spin. But the black boxes were used in the Murdaugh trial, which someone in chat had mentioned. So they're going to be able to get a ton of information if they really have the recorded thing from the car.
Yeah, somebody said they do, because they knew that her system was working, the backup.
Right.
Which she hit John's car. So, I mean, why would she hit his car if she has that? I don't know. Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
You
all got the answers. Everybody's stupid. You fucking idiots. Do I have any mods in here?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Sorry. This is not a question. Just wanted to say it's good to see you. Oh, it's good to see you too.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have more people from Turtle Boy, but I don't think they're as enthusiastic right now. You know what I mean?
They've been taking some hits.
Yeah. And then he got on to them. He wrote an article and I only heard part of it because they were yelling at that other reporter. And he said they were being cringe and not to go out there and act that way.
Oh.
So he reprimanded them today.
Yeah, sure.
Before, the three women together now headed to Albert's home. How soon was it when you pulled in there that you saw John's body?
Immediately.
And
what struck me when I saw him was
his mouth
was open a little bit.
Huh?
How was it possible that as soon as she
didn't see him before?
Yeah, and she seen him immediately. He was way off the road up in the trees.
Well, he wasn't that far in the trees, but I mean, you would have to be looking.
Yeah,
like
you would.
One girl,
but she didn't see him prior to that.
Yeah, I didn't see him the first time. And why was she even looking?
Yeah.
That's what gets me. I wouldn't think. I mean, if I lost a dog, I might go.
I'd have went and knocked on the door and asked if he was still there.
Or called other numbers.
Yeah.
You could find the other numbers. He was friends with one.
Wasn't him and Jen best friends?
Huh?
Him and Jen were best friends?
Yeah, he and Jen had been friends for like 9 years.
Yeah, why couldn't? Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. I personally, and this is, I can't speak, I guess I can't speak for her, but drunk or not, I'd have been knocking on that damn door. 5 o'clock in the morning or not, I'd want to know where my husband is.
Yeah.
Or my man
No,
is.
looking up and down the road, like,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me. But
and his eyes were shut, and he had spots of blood in different areas on his face.
O'Keefe
and
was
also
taken to
she
the
was
hospital.
looking for him. That's a good comment. Where he wasn't nowhere near the side door she was talking about. So why would she be looking over there instead of over the door where she claims he went to?
well, because it was hours later. I mean, he would have went in. I don't think he would have been standing at the door.
Right. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's weird that you would. I don't know.
No, I think they were just driving down the street, and they had to be coming from the right. I don't know, north, south, west. You know what I mean? Like they would have had to either go past the house or in front of those trees, and I don't know which way they were coming to get there. Does anybody know? Like, she was in the back seat. I don't know which side of the back seat, but it would have had to be the side. You know what I mean? Like the right side, she would have seen him.
Right.
Not seen him, but she couldn't have seen him from the left side. But she was in the passenger seat when they drove by.
The right side. If she was driving,
No,
then
she
it would have been the right side, yeah. So she would have been closest to the sidewalk, closest to that area to be able to see in there. But why didn't
depending on which way they come in? I don't know which way they come in.
If it was the other way, then it would have been the driver. So how would she have seen him?
Yeah, she was in the back seat when she saw it.
Yeah.
Y'all's Nana's not drunk. Hey, she said, I watched a series of this yesterday, and
she was in the passenger side.
She was on the passenger side of the back seat. So I'm assuming they came in the same way Karen did when she first came there, because that's how they came in. John would have gotten out. If he got out of the car, it would have been on the right side.
But why wouldn't she have seen him the first go around? It just doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying. I think she did. I think she knew he was there. Of course, I think that, because I think she hit him. But for some reason, she had to have witnesses with her. You know, let's go look for him. And do you think I could have hit him? Remember, she asked that. Of course, in this interview, she goes, there was a question mark or something stupid.
But she did ask it. She did. I remember reading that in many places. Yeah.
Family stranded with 3-year-old daughter. It's been hours. What? I have contacted all authorities plus family. I walked to a gas station to get help. Huh? Are these people like trolling? Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Mods are on it now.
Pronounced dead. He died from blunt force.
Okay, that on the back of his hand is lividity. That is not a bruise. And everybody keeps saying, and he had the defensive wounds. That's not a defensive.
That's not a defensive one. I've seen enough lividity.
Yeah, me too. And look, even on his knuckles, like in the back there, you can see the it's lividity.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear Truth and Transparency? She went through connections to get his wristband.
No.
Somehow she had the information on his wristband. I don't know what it was about, but anyway, there's his wristband.
Trauma and hypothermia. And it wasn't long before Read became the #1 suspect. Authorities say they had noticed a cracked taillight after they seized her car.
I had told both Jen and Carrie that I cracked my
Now listen to this carefully.
Light. I said I just hit my car on top of everything, but I didn't look at the damage. And both women said, it's cracked. It's cracked. Calm down. You cracked your taillight.
Okay, so she's freaking out about a taillight, right? And her husband or boyfriend is missing. She'd been freaking out about that for the last 5 hours or whatever. But it's the taillight. She said it's cracked because she knew at this point they already had the theory that Proctor had taken that piece of glass. So she's emphasizing it's cracked. And she said, I hit something. She didn't say what, though. You see that?
If you listen carefully to her words, the way she plays words and twists things to try to.
Oh, yeah.
She's trying to cover up something. It's so obvious.
Yeah. To say it's cracked. Okay, so listen to what she says again.
My taillight. I said, I just hit my car on top of everything, but I didn't look at the damage.
I just hit my car. What does that mean? I hit my car. You supposedly hit John's car.
Right. When she was backing out that morning.
Right, but she didn't say that. She said, I hit my car.
And both women said, it's cracked. It's cracked. Calm down. You cracked your taillight. You're okay. Let's go look for John.
But according to police statements, Jennifer McCabe told authorities that while they were looking for O'Keefe, Read stated, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? And when O'Keefe's body was discovered, first responders who arrived on the scene say they overheard Read make other statements. Firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that, did I incapacitate him?
Listen to this very carefully because it's hilarious. Okay.
That you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that, did I incapacitate him unwittingly?
Did I incapacitate him? She thought to herself, unwittingly. And then, listen.
Somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out.
When you walked out of the bar, how many drinks had you had?
I had probably about 4.
The Commonwealth says that you had 9 drinks that night.
Oh,
That's what the prosecution says.
I don't believe they're saying I wasn't in my right mind.
Well, they were saying you were intoxicated. Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in...
What happened?
Not possible.
3 days...
She just said, right before that, she could have done something unwittingly, right?
Yeah, why would that be her go-to?
Huh?
Well, why would she even think that? That would be the last thing I would think if I didn't.
No, but that's not the point. A minute later, or whatever edits they put in, it could have been an hour later, she says, it would be impossible.
Right.
She said the same exact thing that he's asking her. Listen.
O'Keefe, Read stated, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
Wait.
And when O'Keefe's body was discovered, first responders who arrived on the scene say they overheard Read make other statements. Firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did.
Okay, this part, listen.
And proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that, did I incapacitate him unwittingly?
Did I incapacitate him unwittingly? Okay. How would you incapacitate him unwittingly when you only had 4 drinks? The Commonwealth didn't think you were drunk. You just said it. So how did you possibly unwittingly incapacitate him? Now, this is like, I don't know how many minutes. Again, they edit and who knows. But seemingly 3 minutes later.
Unwittingly, somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out.
When you walked out of the bar, how many drinks had you had?
I had probably about 4.
The Commonwealth says that you had 9 drinks that night. That's what the prosecution says.
I don't believe they're saying I wasn't in my right mind.
Well, they were saying you were intoxicated. Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in...
What the fuck?
Not possible.
3 days after O'Keefe was found dead, investigators arrested Read for manslaughter. She was eventually...
So I think they must have edited a lot out between, because she wouldn't have said it like a question later, you know?
Yeah, and then turned around and said not possible. But Liza says Lexus has sensors that tell you you have a cracked tail light and 360 cams. No way she didn't notice.
Oh, it does?
That's what Liza says, yeah.
So that, because I kept saying, when I walk out and go to the car in a garage, I don't see my tail light. Like, I don't go near my tail light. So I was wondering how she knew driving around that she had a cracked tail light. So that's why. Thank you for that.
She said they have 360 cameras too, so there's no way she didn't know she hit something. In her opinion, and that's, you know, if that's true, then yeah. How do you not know?
Liza says our thing keeps going so quick. Our Lexus talks to us and gives us more info than our teenagers. That's a lot.
Indicted on second-degree murder. Investigators reported they found fragments of broken glass on the rear bumper on Reed's vehicle, and that a broken cocktail glass was found by what appeared to.
And see, there are parts of this that bother me. And this is one part of it, that he just said they found pieces of glass on the bumper.
Right.
The Commonwealth always says, or wherever I've read it, embedded into the. Now, I can't see it on the bumper. It would have fallen off when it was being towed or driven, because she drove a long way to her mom's house. That, just depending on how they say it, kind of bothers me.
The twist on the
Patches
word.
of blood near O'Keefe's body.
The victim, Mr. O'Keefe, is last observed on surveillance video with a cocktail glass in his right hand. Same arm that's injured, the same type of glass that is then recovered from the bumper of the defendant's car.
Now, my boyfriend, Joseph Scott, he doesn't think that those would be caused by a glass. I think it would be if you were slashing at him with a broken glass. Like maybe the glass got broken some other way. I wonder if she's ever had domestic violence issues.
Yeah, I wonder if you think that would be out though, you know, you think that would.
Well, men don't call. Men don't.
True.
Yeah.
True. She just seemed to be very confrontational when she's drinking.
What is this? Says the children. Wait. Detailed strains within the relationship. The victim's desire to end their relationship and the defendant's description of their relationship with them, and the two children together as toxic.
Wow.
Court documents, the prosecution also claims that Reed's blood alcohol level could have been between 0.13 and 0.29%, above the legal limit of 0.08. In addition, they say pieces of Reed's taillight were found on the scene the day O'Keefe's body was discovered. More fragments of that taillight were found the following week, according to Canton police report.
Now, Turtle Boy says the ex-chief of police was driving by and just happened to see that bigger piece laying in the snow. But I went through a bunch of news reports from the beginning, and that's not what they said. They just said that subsequent searches, they found that piece of taillight. So
reports after the snow melted, which revealed more at the scene. But Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson, has a different theory about how those fragments of taillight got there.
Those pieces of taillight were placed there after the fact.
You're saying evidence was planted?
The pieces of taillight were planted after the fact.
What does the defense believe actually happened to John after Karen dropped him off?
He says that like it's a fact.
I think he walked into the house. I think he was confronted, was likely brought down to the basement. I think that confrontation got physical, and he was beaten. He was beaten to a point of unconsciousness.
Jackson argues that the autopsy photos of O'Keefe support his theory and not the prosecution's claim.
Looks like he's been in a fist fight and he's been beaten. He's got some defensive wound bruises on the backs of his hand. He's got this massive laceration on the back of his head, a big giant gash, about 2.5 inches, exactly lateral, going from left to right. 2 black eyes, cut over his right eye, cut over his nose. This was a cover-up that John was murdered inside that house. His body was placed.
Sheila, stop snoring. God. I don't get the cuts either. Like, what would cause the cuts? The orbital thing with the cracks, the skull fractures.
It could be the undercarriage, something on the undercarriage of the car.
Yeah. Were those mentioned in the autopsy? I think they were.
Yeah.
God, my dog.
But there was no bruising from the waist down.
No, there was no. Okay. I think, that utility box was there too. And it was open and it has they would have found his DNA on the utility box, I guess, if he had hit it. But he hit something. And maybe it was a car. I just cannot figure out how.
Was he drugged? Was he caught up in the undercarriage of the car?
How did it hit him, right? Is Liza. How? See, my chat doesn't even move. How about your taillights? I'm just wondering, are they that? I can't figure that part out. Like, how she...
Well, they said that he was vomiting. Could it be possible that, he was drunk and he was bending over, puking?
Yeah, I don't know about that theory.
Maybe he dropped his phone. Who knows? Yeah, I'd like. That has always bothered me too. About.
I think she. Well, the thing that makes the most sense is she sideswiped him. Like she hit him and he went back, and that's how his head got cracked. But then all of his clothes were soaked in vomit and blood. So maybe he set up for a time.
He could have. With brain bleed, sometimes it could take a couple of minutes,
Well, he had to be bleeding profusely from that wound in his head. So if he set up, we can't hear her, heels in the air. They can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, Ellen Pickles says she can't hear me. Oh, you can't hear her? That's because she's not talking yet. Y'all can hear this, right?
Yeah, I hear it when you play it.
Oh my! Can you hear my dog? It's like so loud.
No, your dog's fine.
I'm gonna throw something at her.
I had to mute for a minute because I had to re-tuck my kids in bed for the third time. But
Curious, I'm so glad to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Okay.
ABC News, the prosecution says there was no conspiracy or cover-up. Such claims have been systematically refuted by evidence submitted to Norfolk Superior Court. The prosecution also said that, according to O'Keefe's cell phone GPS records and 11 witness statements, O'Keefe never entered Albert's home, and that a medical examiner found no signs of Mr. O'Keefe being involved in any type of physical altercation or fight.
Okay. I'll go back to this. So 11 people, and also what you have to keep in mind, all of those officers get a nice pension when they retire.
Yeah.
Why would they risk that alone to cover up when they just could have called an ambulance? They just could have called 911. Even a fight with a 17-year-old is not going to ruin his life.
Right.
What would ruin your life is putting him out in the yard.
Yeah, and all these different departments, everyone's going to put everything on the line just to cover it up. Doesn't make sense.
Cover up for a 17-year-old or whatever.
It doesn't
you can't keep it up. Like Jackson, I really do think he's done. Because that's what Ben Crump did in one of the Kendrick Johnson case. When it got ridiculous, he booked. Like he was out of there. And the other dumbass attorney took it over because they were filing like ridiculous lawsuits. And he didn't have anything to do with it anymore. Now I think he puts it out sometimes, but I think Jackson is probably, I don't even see him really mentioned that much. He hasn't been he wasn't at the last hearing, was he? Or the last two, I think.
Not at the one before. I don't know about the last one. Not to the previous one, though.
Well, it's good to see you anyway, Curious. So they're shaming. They're claiming. Oh, good. I'm glad you said that. So they're claiming her hurting him is entirely, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this, entirely those injuries. They better have a really great reenactment because it's really hard to envision. Like I said, I can see her side swipe. I can totally see John getting out of the car, standing there because the other guy that came up behind him, that Nagel, he said he could see her in the car. The overhead light was on. He didn't see John, which he wouldn't have unless he had some reason to directly look in the car when they passed, because he wouldn't have seen. He was in the passenger seat. So that's all crap.
Yeah, I've been on accident scenes and stuff, you know, where people have gotten hit, and you look and you're like, how did that? But those accident reenactments, man, that'll answer it all.
Well, I wonder if they'll have one.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They're gonna, they're gonna have to. At this point, they're gonna have to.
Technology we have, they could have the actual.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching. I'm not going to mention any names, but I sat straight up because I was taking a nap, and I was like, "Did she really fucking just say that?" So, someone said that a picture had gotten out of her. It wasn't even a big deal to me, but that said she was doing something sexual, and she goes, "It's a deep fake."
What?
And it obviously was not a deep fake, but yeah, they were so good they could do a deep fake. But it's kind of scary because in the future, that's what we're looking at. You know, like we're always asking for receipts. I mean, in a year, we'll be able to give a video with somebody doing something that they were. But yeah, I had to laugh because it's like, no. So District Attorney Morrissey's statement was made in response, and that's what we just watched. And then there were Free Karen Read protesters were shown, photographs of witnesses displayed, and the defendant made numerous comments about the evidence in her relationships. Her relationships?
Yeah, with their relationship, I'm guessing.
It says her. When asked what the defense believes to have occurred, Attorney Jackson passionately asserted pieces of taillight evidence planted after the fact, and that the victim walked into the house. I think he was confronted and was likely brought down to the basement, blah, blah, blah. And then see video. And that's what we just, I tried to put this all together to, I wrote it down actually.
You're doing fine.
Okay. Because I was told I was disorganized.
Oh, so what? Kiss it.
I am. Witness tampering. Okay. Anyway, yeah. See, the research I love doing. I love doing the research. Just putting it together and either writing or doing. This is actually a lot easier than writing about it. This was a cover-up. The defendant's motion to disqualify and sanction the Norfolk District Attorney's Office conveniently misrepresents this court's July 31st ruling that reprimanded the defense team, in particular Attorney Jackson, for making unethical and inflammatory comments about the Commonwealth witness that arguably crossed the line of permissibility under Rule 3.6. And then see this and see that. This court stated that Attorney Jackson's inflammatory statements about the Commonwealth and witnesses, okay, I just thought of this. I'm sorry because I'll forget. Has anybody been watching Gray's coverage of this?
No, I'm behind on that.
God. I feel so sorry for people that just kind of wander in because they're, they're watching the case or they're following the case and they just kind of stumble into Gray's. And they'll go, oh, yeah, I know about this. And they'll tell him something that happened because he's patiently going from A, B, C. He goes all the way to Z. He doesn't go forward or, it doesn't matter what we know. And oh, my God, he gets them goes off on them. I have to laugh because I see it's like I see somebody just stumbling into a bar and everybody, I wish he would just not pay attention to him, like just don't pay attention because everybody, they're sleuthing. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do, Oh my
He
gosh.
does.
It was
He
funny.
drags things out though.
Yeah, well,
That's
he
why I
does.
haven't went back and watched it. I haven't had a chance to, because
Yeah. I mean, he does a good job. It's just do not interrupt or, don't tell him that you know something. Yeah, he lets them know. Well, and it's not even that they're ignorant. If they say, oh, yeah, the piece of glass was found by, whatever, I'm not there yet. If you want to do this, you come up and do it or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those poor people. There should be a sign, a moderator should tell him the minute she sees a new person,
The chat saying he's ridiculous to anyone who doesn't agree with his opinion. He's harsh, and in my opinion, likes trolling and scolding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like cases that I followed. The one I followed most closely of all was John Bonet. And even like 3 years later, when everything's out there, somebody will say, I think Santa did it. And I just want to pop them in the head, because that was that was like the very first theory that was debunked, like week 1. And so I get it. I mean, but they're not stupid. They just don't know the case.
Right.
But some are stupid. I will say that. Some, but you just have to ignore them, Just ignore them. On July 31st, this court held at this time there was not a substantial likelihood that defense counsel statements would materially prejudice the proceedings. So he's saying Morrissey's statements, and all Morrissey was doing was telling them to knock it off. I don't know why they're wanting to sanction for that, unless they're trying to distract from the warrant for her phone and everything that came out,
Yes. That all it is a distraction.
Attorney Jackson made a comment to the media in response to Morrissey's recorded statement where he seemingly, and I couldn't find this, I looked for like an hour, where, I know he made the statement, I just couldn't find it. So Jackson said, so listen up, sir, I'll speak slowly so you understand, Michael Morrissey, we ain't got no quit. Okay. I don't think Morrissey told him to quit. Just to quit with the hyperbole, or as Betty likes to say, what does she say? Hyperbole?
Yeah, hyperbole.
Hyperbole. The defendants continued attempts to materially prejudice the judicial proceedings and to try the case in the media is unprecedented. It's really not. He doesn't get out much because it's not unprecedented.
I was going to say there's so many cases tried in the media. What are you talking about?
Those are the ones that irk me. But anyway, further supported by the fact that on September 17, 2023, the defendant traveled. Oh, this one. The defendant traveled with Attorney Jackson, Attorney Little. Well, okay. I'm assuming that's Melanie Little. And when I watched one of her shows, she was, oh, I'm so glad Vinny invited me on his show. I'm so privileged. And like she was had never even had anything to do with this, But she was traveling with Jackson Little and a woman believed to be a television news producer to the victim's home, in violation of her conditions of release, as well as other places of interest in Canton. Whoa. So why didn't they arrest her?
Exactly. If she has all these conditions and she's broke them all, why is she not?
I wonder what the condition was, though. It was 2 attorneys. Oh, maybe the news producer.
Could be.
Oh, and balanced by the amount of public and prejudicial statements made by the defendant and her counsel, the suggestion that District Attorney Morrissey's statement from over 6 months ago is rich. Untenable is his word. CMAS are when prejudicial statements have been publicly made by others, responsive statements may have the you know, he puts words in here that aren't necessary. Like there's another one further down that I'm like, why don't you just use a word we know? Have the salutary effect of lessening any resulting adverse impact on the adjudicative proceeding. Further, the defendant's motion, you can't believe how blurry this is to me. Further, the defendant's motion is premised upon case law that governs the breadth of a closing argument. A distinction, you're even getting, I mean, it's like so wordy, which it should be. Disqualification of counsel or his office is not a measure to be taken lightly. And he says the same thing like Betty does, like 15 times, gives the precedence. Further, dismissal as a sanction is very strong medicine, and it should be prescribed only when the government misconduct is so intentional and is so egregious, and appropriate only upon a showing of Jesus Christ. Interminable, is that interminable? I can't even see it.
I can't see it.
Irredeemable harm to the defense. Is it not showing on your screen?
No.
Are you serious?
Just the 3 dudes, you know, Vinny and them, yeah. But we're not seeing the article you're reading.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why
Well,
I need
yeah,
to go.
I'll never be able to see
I
that.
need to close because I'm reading this. Fuck. Okay, so anyway. Further dismissal, very strong medicine, blah, blah, blah. Another precedent, disqualification warranted when the federal officer is working. Y'all just think I'm memorizing this?
No, I just thought you were reading. Sometimes I can't show things, and I just read them because for some reason they won't show. So I just thought you were just reading it.
No, and you know, somebody, like, I could put, like, I could see what you're seeing, like if I put it on my TV, maybe, or I have another laptop. I guess I could use that because I think that's what a lot of people do. So they don't do this. You see, did you see the doc? Okay, now she's saying I don't see it now.
Yeah, the document's on now.
Oh, good. You were just listening. I think that's what most people do is listen. But last night, I don't know. I just started getting like this. It was just too much. Like every single thing I was reading, like scrolling through, even like the news, other podcasts. I was trying to find a comedy podcast. They were all fighting about shit. You know, like this comedy podcaster is fighting with the other people. Take a fucking break.
Yeah, I wasn't on.
Yeah, and you know, everybody, all the creators are fighting now. It's like you just.
It's insanity.
Have to duck going in.
It's total insanity.
It is. The Commonwealth disputes any ethical violations or misconduct surrounding the district attorney Morrissey's recorded statement, let alone misconduct that taints the legal system or infringes upon the defendant's right to a fair trial. So anyway, God, my eyes are so blurry. As it pertains to a federal investigation related to circumstances surrounding this case, the Commonwealth has not been advised of the parameters or scope of federal activity, and the U.S. Attorney's Office has essentially kept the Commonwealth in the dark about the specifics of its investigation. What? The Commonwealth has not been advised. It's like kids fighting. Are you doing something that's making noise?
It's raining.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah.
As detailed as the Commonwealth's correspondence with the U.S. Attorney's Office and Department of Justice, the Norfolk District Attorney initially raised concerns about the impartiality of then acting U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins. That's kind of interesting. That whole Rachel Rollins, Josh, what's his name? Because he is only temporary, taking her place, Rachel Rollins' place. And I think he's trying to do something outstanding to ace his chances, you know? Anyway, then there's the letters, like the 8 letters that they made a big deal out of. Norfolk District Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Norfolk District Attorney. You already said that, didn't you? And Department of Justice. See also exhibit. And here I've made an arrow with my newfound tool, and I pointed to this, and it doesn't say anything that's interesting. So I don't know what happened there. No idea. Maybe I was hungry. Commonwealth failed to request material and exculpatory reports from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Commonwealth obligated, good God. Despite,
there's a lot of pages.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Despite requests made by the Commonwealth on May 9th, it was, I mean, if you want to, like, I'll go back and look at these to get dates and how something was worded, like quotes or whatever. But a lot of this is just repetitive.
Repetitive, yeah. I was reading some of it. I was like, oh, you just said that in the previous 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pages of the same stuff.
The not familiar involved with the investigation contacted both the Commonwealth and defense counsels Jackson and Yannetti to discuss the possibility of disclosing information in the possession of the Department of Justice pursuant to federal regulations. Commonwealth has not received any grand jury. Okay, so that's what they asked for in the last meeting or hearing, was the grand jury minutes, and they were going to send them in the flash drive. Did they have cloud? I wonder.
Yeah. So they still haven't gotten the grand jury minutes?
Not the minutes. And I don't know if they're talking, I guess, I don't know which minutes they're talking about the grand jury, the federal grand jury, I would assume.
Yeah. Or the
yeah,
state.
they have the other. Are specific information about the investigation conducted by, yes, the grand federal. U.S. Attorney's Office, although it has made repeated requests. Now, this is really fading for me. See exhibit, blah, 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 a joint request for discovery. Okay, and I think that is the TUI process. You know how they kept talking about TUI? It's like a FOIA, but it's between offices, like the district attorney and the attorney general. It's like if I FOIA'd the government, it would be the government FOIAing. It's the way I read it anyway. And it's rare. Is the rain whistling?
Yeah, I'm going in the house now.
Whistling rain. Let's see. Specific information about the investigation conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office. All they made repeated requests. Everybody makes a big deal out of how they ask for something and they don't get it. That's called discovery, and all of that takes a lot of time. Okay.
And they always argue back and forth about it.
Okay, so now it's the Commonwealth. God, it's getting so blurry for me. Jackson, Yannetti, and Attorney Little. Okay, so Little is that other girl, right? I'm thinking of Melanie Little, but I think Little is the blonde that's been with him a long time.
Right. That's who I think it is.
Okay, so it wasn't the other Little. I'm sorry, Melanie. Just never mind on the other. Jointly participated in a conference call with the U.S. Attorney's Office, which she misrepresented hugely. And then, anyway, you'll see. During this call, the U.S. Attorney's Office indicated it may release information to counsel for both parties subject to stringent protective order, but offered no definitive answers. Do not know what's going on with my eyesight. Or clear guidance on what materials exist, nor what will be produced pursuant to federal regulations. So everything they're saying here is Yannetti went and talked to the Attorney General. Like, I don't get that whole meeting. Like, why would he do that? The Commonwealth has diligently investigated the defendant's unsubstantiated allegations of police and prosecutorial. Well, you're investigating yourself. That's not going to really make anybody comfortable.
No, not at all. And it should have been an outside source.
Yeah. I mean, if at all. So to them, it was obvious she did it. They have proof. Hopefully, they have proof. So why would they? I don't get the police misconduct. They're just making shit up. Like Proctor, they said Jen called Proctor right after she called 911. I don't see that on her phone records.
Yeah, I went through that timeline again. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. And Blair will say it. Blair says it all the time that he saw that. There was no canine DNA associated with the swabs taken from the victim's clothing in the areas. So they checked the clothing and the areas of the victim's injuries. The voluntary admission, a submission of law enforcement officers. Now, they haven't done that yet, the DNA profiles, to conduct comparative analysis. I'm having a super hard time reading this.
Do you want me to try?
No, that's okay. I'm not going to read a whole, I mean, there's not much more of it. It just keeps getting blurry. So they're going to do that. That's what they asked for in court. And they both agreed, like there was no disagreement on how it was going to be gathered and where it was going to be tested. And they said it would be at the very earliest a month before they would get it back.
Right.
4 weeks. The victim's phone physical locations at various points and the hiring of 2 independent forensic examiners, one of which is the senior digital intelligence expert from Celebrite, to explain how the defendants. Okay, so with that one, anybody that thinks Jen looked for how long to die in snow or whatever, and hours later, Karen said the same thing. I mean, the coincidence would be amazing. Just like the coincidence of Karen finding John and taking the blame for it, you know, and they're all like, yeah, she did it. How long to die in Sicket and how long to die in Cold. See, like I have a bunch of tabs open, but I have an Android.
Right.
And
So
I probably have 100 tabs open because I always have to go back and close them. But I don't know how to test it. Renee says her attorney or some dude up there declared, shit, it's factually proven and evident that cops put broken pieces at the location.
I haven't seen any factual evidence.
Yeah, her attorney says that. These defense attorneys, I mean, I've seen some just like lawsuits that are so crazy. I think the craziest one was Kendrick Johnson's mom and dad they filed like 5, I think. So like they keep filing them. I think the last one was for like $1 billion. And the lawsuit is insane. And they file it and it costs the other parties hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight it. And they get attorney's fees. Like they've been awarded, the other people, the other side, have been awarded the attorney's fees. But they're not going to pay them.
They'll never get it.
No, she doesn't even plan on paying it. Leave It to Beaver says, that's a real tall order they're going to have to prove. I know for a fact law enforcement and other government agencies can be corrupt, are corrupt, but not all. Yeah, but they do. They cover that shit up. There is no way 11 people or even one person, which is not possible that one person would have done all that and nobody see it because of what they have to lose. It's insane. And you're taking the chance. He has his phone and he's still alive. You don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, you don't know that he's could regain consciousness. And you just throw him out there? Like, he can call 911. Which,
they could have made it look like, hey, he was drunk and fell in the ice and the snow. I mean, there's just so much that it could have been.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, it could have been anything. I mean, the one thing, if Karen hadn't come back, do you think they would assume somebody in the house killed him? I don't think they would. It'd be like, look, this drunk guy probably got hit. What they would look for is somebody that hit him, not thinking some idiot would put him in their front yard. I don't think that ever even crossed their mind.
Yeah, and come on, they're police officers. They don't think that any of their neighbors have Ring doorbell cams or cameras. Come on.
Yeah, I think the guy across the street did, that Beatty guy, but I don't remember what went on with it. My question is, was this man law enforcement? Yes. What would be their motive? The motive that they give, the defense gives, is they. Well, that was at first. I think they stopped talking about, or Turtle Boy. I don't think the defense ever said it was. Did he say it was a kid? I don't think Jackson ever said that.
No, Turtle Boy's the one. Turtle Boy and all the.
Yeah, the Turtle Riders.
Yeah.
So the defendant also alleges a comment. Well, I want to play this where I want to point something out.
Okay.
Share the screen. Oh, my eyes are so bad.
We know what happened inside the house. We just don't know who struck the fatal blow. And the prosecution, it doesn't seem to want to get to the bottom of it. We're trying to.
All right, let's get to the shattered tail light. As Alan was speaking, David, we were watching video. And that's Kare Read's car, right? And what's the significance of this video? And is this where the tail light was actually shattered from your perspective, not during the murder of John O'Keefe?
The way you said that, the murder. See, I've watched this as slow as possible. I've taken screenshots of right before she hits it, right after, and no snow, nothing moves.
Yeah, I reviewed that, and I mean the snow was fresh. It wasn't like packed down hard.
Yeah.
Nothing, not even a little bit of a dust, nothing moved.
Now McDonough had a video that I did see it move. And I don't know why that one would have been different, because I did see it move. So, but
I'm gonna have to check out that video. I didn't.
Yeah, I think it's on Glara's show, maybe, or no, it doesn't seem like it was on Glara's. Melanie Little, I think that's where it was. So anyway.
Yes, there's no doubt that's when the tail light was shattered. And by the way, that's at 5 in the morning, 4.5 hours after.
And one other thing they don't explain is, and like I said, they're not going to give you evidence that goes against them. There was no video of her coming in. So, or, coming in that night and leaving. So they would have, the niece, I think, said Karen had his password for that system. And it was also on John's phone. So that got erased at some point, or it's gone. And I think that's going to be a big deal in the case.
After it was supposedly shattered.
See, looking at that, I don't even see the tail light shattered, but I've seen a lot of people break it down to where it made sense, because you can kind of see the light. Someone with Alexis would know.
Yeah, exactly. They were really reaching with all the different posts on Twitter and posting all the different tail lights. It was like, it's a moot point. It's not the exact model, make and model. It's not, you can't compare.
Yeah, McDonough was showing a bunch of pictures on his Twitter. That guy, he reminds me of Chris McDonough. Yeah,
the night before. The taillight was intact when she left Brian Albert's house. She came home.
How do you know that?
Yeah, he doesn't know that.
This was Karen leaving to begin the frantic search for John O'Keefe. Now, I don't know that you can see it from the video that you have there, but there is no doubt that when that SUV comes into contact with what is John O'Keefe's vehicle parked in the driveway, you can see that rear tire move forward. Yeah. It rotates.
point. Could she have?
So Vinny is not at all curious. You know what I mean? Like he just
wait a minute. If the tire moved, then that means the whole car moved, and there would be.
Well, there would be the snow would fall. You know what I mean?
The snow would be disturbed, and it's not disturbed at all. And it's a fresh, light snow. It's not a heavy packed snow.
But Vinny is always so incurious that he doesn't say, well, I lost my question. Anyway, he doesn't ever.
She did hit that car. It was a cap. I mean, she wasn't going very fast. She was backing out of the driveway.
Yeah,
if she would have hit that car,
could I have hit it?
I know it was.
It would have been a cap. It wouldn't have been any,
Well, why didn't he say was her rear, the cameras weren't working? Like she didn't get any indication that you're going to hit something. It was 5.
Yeah, we have we have a backup cam and stuff, and it
tells you.
It doesn't make sense, especially in Lexus, because they have a far more than I have in my vehicle,
And so
we have a backup cam and stuff.
If they have the black box, it will tell them if she struck something at 5 a.m., right?
Right. It'll tell them from what other people have said about these Lexuses. Not only do they have the technology, but they also have the 360 cams, and it would alert with the broken light. An alarm would, they would get an alarm notification.
Leave it to Beaver. Are you okay? What did she say?
Very, very traumatic for me and my family, and I don't know how. I haven't had. God is good in spite of everything. Thank you for your support. She was saying that she'd been going through something similar, where there, bad police and stuff involved, and she said by everything she knows about this so far, experiencing it herself, it just doesn't seem to be that way in the Kare Read case with the police cover up and all that stuff.
Oh. You want to?
Did I get that right? I hope, Leave It to Beaver. I hope I got that right. Yeah, she says I get done dealing with it. Wait a minute. She has a comment right up here.
Yeah, she wasn't still wasted, I don't think, at 5.
You bite me one more time and you're going to timeout, cat. My cat just bit me.
Say Jen and Carrie did. What are you going to do? Are you timing out?
My cat just bit me.
Oh, you're going to time your cat out?
Yes.
But they did say, Carrie and Jen did say she seemed like she was not okay to drive. Yeah, at 5 a.m. is the time of this video.
Yeah, and that was hours after. But I question if she had 9 drinks before they left that bar. I question anybody getting behind the wheel after 9 drinks. I don't care how much you drink.
Well, she may be someone that can drink a lot. Someone that's kind of used to drink. If she's walking in hiding her drink, but I don't believe that because they saw her with the drink.
Right.
Maybe they said they saw her walking out with it, but I think they said they saw her walking into the bar.
Yeah, I thought I seen her that it was either her or him left also with the drink in their hand.
Maybe it was John. They saw John walking out. Okay. Because one of the women, I think it was Nicole, said she pulled it out of her jacket. I mean, I'm not that married to a drink that I need to hide it.
I'm not hiding it. I mean, I know they cost a lot now, but I'm not. Get me a fresh damn drink, okay?
Yeah, you wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe I would. I don't know. I used to sneak stuff into the movie theater, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's a little different than a bar, but you know, as much as drinks cost, I depending on what she's drinking, if it was top shelf, could have been an expensive drink.
Yeah, she likes frugal people. She's frugal.
There you go.
That is a reasonable thing for her to have said. It's a reasonable thing for someone to have overheard. But keep in mind, I don't know.
So he's admitting she said it. Like, it was reasonable for her to say, did I hit him? Well, why would you think you hit him?
Is that the first thing that comes to your mind?
Instead of, I saw him go to the door, how could I have hit him?
Right. That wouldn't have been the first thing I thought, considering I just told you that I watched him go up to the door.
Go to the door and waited 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What
So
the
now you're going to
paramedics are
say that.
Yeah.
They're going to say everything that comes from that paramedic is coming through someone that's involved in John O'Keefe's murder. In other words, Jennifer McCabe, others inside the house, they have a connection. They have a relationship with that very same firefighter or that paramedic. That's why this is all very suspect. If the only thing that
everybody's a suspect, even the fire, she was in on it. And it, like, did they call her and tell her what to say?
The magnitude of this cover up
is unreal.
Is so many people, so many different departments. There's no way there'd have been cracks. People would have.
And they interviewed everybody that night.
Yeah.
I hear people saying they never even talked to any. They went, Buchanan and Sabat, I don't know pronounce their names, but two of the officers went in to Brian's house and talked to them.
And I've had to give testimony and statements whenever, if it was, an accident, crime scene or whatever, running EMS all them years. So you are interviewed and fairly quickly.
Yeah, because they want to know right then. And then people say, well, why didn't they arrest her? Well, because, he did tell Kare to take her home, but he was a police officer and that's his girlfriend. So I'm sure they'd be a little more careful. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't arrest. Well, she wasn't in her car, for one thing. She went home and drove all the way to her mom and dad's house where she stayed. Then another thing people say is, well, she never spoke to the kids or any of the family since that happened. Well, that can look suspicious, but she may have been told not to contact them. You know what I mean? Like, it would be really suspicious if they didn't like call her and want to know she's okay. Her call the kids. She'd been with them for 2 years, but there was no contact. So either that really looks guilty or there was a no contact order, which I don't know. I haven't seen that.
The Commonwealth has to rely on is some.
Hey, Hills, you didn't. It's okay. Hadn't seen you in a while, Bieber.
No, I thought her comment was very good.
She said she didn't. She thinks she didn't say hello.
Posed statement. Oh my gosh, could I have hit him? That's not enough to base a prosecution on. That's desperate.
Doesn't he just look slimy?
Yeah.
He looks like a car salesman to me.
And of course, it's not enough to base a prosecution on, let alone get a grand jury to charge you. So there's got to be more than we know.
Yeah, but to say, well, that doesn't mean it. Every juror is going to say that she saw him walk to the door.
Yeah.
Why would she even entertain she might have hit him?
Exactly. Like I said, it had all this when they upgraded the charges, had all this stuff with the Turtle Boy and all this other stuff coming out in these statements and these interviews, she would have stood a good chance of not being convicted of the harder crime. Now, I don't know. It's going to be.
That's what tells me, too. He's all about the entertainment, being on the shows. That's what a lot of these people, that's all they're about, getting on a show and being a pundit.
Yep.
But to let her go on to Nightline is crazy. It's nuts. Matt Gutman, the one on Nightline, in the Trayvon Martin? Yeah. In the Trayvon Martin case, he was calling that witness that wasn't the witness, that was fake, at like 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to get her to talk to him. I mean, he was relentless, and he did a lot of shady shit in that case. But I haven't seen much out of him since that interview.
When every single other piece of physical and circumstantial and direct evidence points the exact opposite direction. the exact opposite direction to the Alberts, to the McCabe's, to the people that were inside that house.
What? And
every morning I film myself at the bus stop. I live stream myself at the bus stop because if the police are going to pick me up again, which they probably will, there's talk about indictment. They're probably going to do it in front of the kids because they want maximum shock effect. They want to basically demoralize you and make it so that you don't want to continue. But so I film it every day just in case they do show up this time. Last time they caught me unprepared. This time I won't be. So getting by.
Franklin, he says that he's the one who is being targeted because he is coming against prosecutors and police.
And they did not pick him up. They waited for his kids to get on the bus and the bus out of sight before they picked him up.
Right.
Police and these charges on behalf of Karen Read. Your thoughts?
No, men with podcasts. I think that I've seen it often. It's like you have, just a little justified. You feel justified, and it takes you on a road. Fame is a hell of a drug, and once you get a little bit of taste of it, it just takes you to wherever. And he just needs a few therapy sessions. I think that it's great that it happened before trial, that he's been, I think that putting him on ice is definitely necessary so that Miss Reed can have a proper trial. But
and apparently she doesn't. This was before we all found out Miss Reed was the one running the show, and I kind of figured that anyway.
Yeah,
that he was having communication some way with her.
She just from the interviews I've seen of her and the things I've seen, she just seems like someone has to be in total charge, total control.
Yeah.
And it's her way or you're going to have a serious fight on your hands.
Yeah. She seems like a control person. Why does my mail show up on here? Okay.
How can you wear those buttons when you covered up his murder?
For anyone that doesn't know, this is Jen McCabe. She's the one that went looking for John with Carrie. I don't think I've seen Carrie.
I know.
That morning.
Comment on that? Why you Google that 227? Any comment?
And if they don't sue him, I will be shocked.
There's going to be civil cases flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. I'm sorry. Follow me to my kids' games. And go, do the things that you did to my business and the things you did to my child. He's still a child. He was under 18. He was in high school. He's still a child.
Well, not only that,
I'm coming at you.
Like this guy, do you know how much willpower it would take not to punch him in the face?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have it.
Yeah, and so he's doing all this and then reprimands from jail his followers that were yelling at that reporter.
Yeah. And that's all fake, right? That's just to make it look, that was so fake. I can't even believe he did that.
Yeah.
Mr. McCabe, any comment? How can you show your face in court? Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you ashamed? What are you hiding? Why did you delete all those phone calls, Mr. McCabe? Why did you delete all those phone calls? Why did you delete your Google search, Mr. McCabe? Mr. McCabe, I believe you said that you saw...
And that's harassment. Why isn't there an officer there, like, escorting them?
Yeah, just like at the sporting event, the kids' school sporting event. I mean, eventually the guys there did get him out, escort him out. The thing is, he should have been escorted out immediately. There should have never been minutes of anything being said. You don't know how unsafe he is, how unstable he is, and the people that follow him. You don't know if they will try to do something to that boy or try to get a hold of that boy and make him talk to them. You just don't know these people. You don't know they're capable. Look at the things they've done to people behind this case.
Well, and it's mental. And this is forever. Anything that happens on the internet is forever.
Yep, exactly.
Karen Read drives south on Fairview Road. Oh, excuse me, sir. Nice to see you guys got dressed up for court, though. Looking sharp.
Absolutely.
So, I believe you guys both said that you saw Karen Read drive south. Is that correct? South. So then how could she do a 3-point turn then if she was traveling south?
Well, it was Karen that said she did a 3-point turn.
Exactly.
Nobody made that up. Karen said it.
Exactly. That came right out of her own mouth.
Yeah.
On that road. Any comment on that? No? Make sense to you? Hall. Go to the bar and then stay up till 4:53. Truth and justice. We're looking for it right now. They participated. They're in the murder of a Boston police officer. These are cop killers, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cop killer right there.
Right there. That is a lawsuit. I mean, that is a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Cop killer. Cop killer.
And he is not a
calling their
journalist.
houses. You're allowed to picket in front of people's businesses, but what you're not allowed to do is accuse their son of murmur.
Not just their son. Them.
And them. Yeah. There's a line. Yes, you're entitled to free speech, but you are not allowed. Free speech does not cover defamation, slander, and harassment.
No. And he'll say, when he says he's a journalist, he is not.
No.
Everything he's done proves he's an activist.
He's a
not
school
journalist.
teacher that ran before an investigation because he knew he
Yeah.
was in trouble.
Right.
You are. That's all you're ever getting.
When I first saw the story last year, I don't know. I remember looking at it. Obviously, I look at stories.
Okay, this is where he talks about how he first got onto the case. And I put these in order of reading the Commonwealth's forever word salad. But this is where he first talks about how he got on the case. And it's a lie.
Like this. And I just didn't have a take on it. Like when I remember seeing the headlines that a Boston police officer was run over in a driveway by his girlfriend in a snowstorm, and that she didn't realize she had done it until afterwards. And I went on her LinkedIn and I'm like, I remember looking at her thing. I'm like, oh man, this woman's sharp.
Okay, so this is after his first communication with Natalie.
You know, normally you don't expect that. Like college educated, works at a university, work good with numbers. Like you'd probably want to hire her. And it's like, but everybody makes mistakes. You know, anyone could have too much to drink and just heat of the moment do something like that. And I think that's kind of how it was portrayed. So I didn't really have an opinion. So I don't write about stories that I don't have strong opinions on. But it's just, I wasn't feeling, people are saying the don't know.
I don't write about stories. I don't have it. Then you're a blogger. Stop saying you're a journalist. I wrote about stuff I had strong opinions on. I mean, they could be changed, but I wouldn't continue with a case if I didn't have a strong opinion.
Exactly.
So you're just a blogger. That's it. He won. His award was for something like the best blogger. And again, it's the same article in the town paper that gives an award to the bartender. Like the best.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what? Most of his content he doesn't even do. Other people do it for him.
Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, that's the same with JLR.
Link is not working. Is that right? Let me see. What happens with the donut link? Is that not working? Let me click on that.
But so he starts out with like, you know, I was just looking around and didn't really have an opinion. Right.
Turtle. Seeing the story, and I just didn't have that strong of an opinion on it. But something about it just didn't smell right. And it just seemed like it was at the home of a Boston police officer. Obviously, the Boston police officers are going to kill another Boston police officer. And I felt bad for her when I saw it, like on the news. I'm like, man, that sucks. This woman, you know, has her shit together, and she just got drunk one night and appears to have not even known that she backed this guy over. I'm sure she didn't mean to kill him, and I'm sure it's eating her up inside. But that was not the case at all. Yeah. So let's just kind of chronicle our way through the story, relive it if we can. So
no, I don't. Go down when the truth comes out. Okay, watch this. Watch them look at each other. And I don't know if you can see it, how big it is. Yeah. Ah, here we go.
Albert, in my opinion, murdered.
Dude does not have a chance in hell.
None.
Ah, my God.
But you know what? I truly believe with his ego and his narcissism, he thinks that he's going to walk scot-free.
And live happily ever after with Karen Read.
Y'all both
Ew.
gonna be in jail.
Ugh.
Okay, now this guy, his name is Dave McGrath, I think, and he's written a couple of books on child cult stuff. And God bless him, he was a victim when he was a kid.
But what does that have to do with the Karen Read case?
Nothing. I'm saying he writes books about the child,
Uh,
the people that hurt children. And so
okay.
that's his, and he knows, I guess he's been following Turtle Boy. He said, every day I get up
Lord.
and I read Turtle Boy.
Oh my Lord.
And that's probably all you read.
Yeah.
John O'Keefe, sue me if I'm wrong. Dare you to. I dare you to open yourself up to discovery. I'm double daring you to. Do it. If it's untrue, sue me. Game over. This is the easiest defamation case of all time. Why don't you do it?
Don't worry,
No,
they're
we're not
coming.
gonna- we're
I
not
have a feeling.
Yeah. See, he is so confident that Karen
Mhm.
Read is giving him all the, she's so nice and pretty and giving me all the correct information.
gonna remain quiet, Alina. I know you would like that. If the public just ignored.
Exactly, Catherine. So sick of the press pass printing perps. That was a lot of P's.
This, but we're not going away, and you're insulting the good people of Canton. You're a disgrace.
Which is, of course, what they wanted from the beginning. They wanted you to ignore it so they could force this girl into a deal and then give her probation and then have everyone forget about it, which is what they've always wanted.
Right. Well, like, let me say, I just said somebody's like, it's an opinion, it's a fact, not an opinion. Okay, so here's a fact. Someone in the house killed him. So I wasn't there. I don't know who killed him. One of them did, because it wasn't Karen Read, therefore it had to be someone in the house. You tell me who did it.
And here is where more defamation.
We know that Brian Albert was definitely 100% involved in getting rid of the body.
We know
What?
Brian Albert was 100% involved.
Yeah.
Defamation.
Body
well, everybody, he knows that, but nobody else does. Not even, you know.
How would he know he's involved? Like, what evidence do you have? Because nothing they tried to put into evidence has worked.
Well, he was calling the prosecutors home, his private number, and threatening him and threatening his wife and everything.
Yeah, I know.
It was insane.
So bad. Okay, so go back to the Commonwealth. And all these measures were taken by the Commonwealth to acquire any exculpatory evidence. Came together.
Hills, in all honesty, do you think there's any way that Karen is going to try to flip on him and try to get some kind of deal for her so they can make an example of him? Because, come on, let's face it, states are tired of these crime tourists and these intimidators. And do you think
it was a different charge, but not murder? I mean, they're not going to deal with her. They'll deal with him. I mean, I think
usually they will deal with who comes first. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Maybe she could have some info that we just don't know, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to flip because, and I think even putting that statement in here that she said he intimidated her, if he believes it, knowing him, I mean, I don't know him, but his narcissism, he probably doesn't. He's going to say, oh, they just said that. But when the rubber meets the road, he's going to be scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be.
Because the time he's looking at isn't county jail time. He's not going to stay in segregation in county jail. Yeah.
He's
like he
looking
is
at
now.
prison.
Yeah.
Because he's got 19 counts. And I think B-Tim had looked it up, but I think it's like maximum 10 years or something. And of course, he would get the maximum, but that'd be a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah. And that's time that, like I said, right now, he's in a county jail. He's being kept separate. He's pretty much being, you know, he was getting to talk to people he shouldn't have been able to because they lied and said they were lawyers.
Yeah,
you know, he's been able to pretty much skate through it. The time he's looking at, he's not going to skate through it like that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think it'll become, you know, real because he's until they found all the communication, he had a better chance. But
Somebody's got to flip. The defendant alleges the Commonwealth improperly released information about the what? The defendant alleges the Commonwealth improperly released.
Yeah, they've been saying stuff like that.
That the defendant alleged the Commonwealth. They're not the ones that they didn't even know about it. Or they're saying, I mean, I don't know how they couldn't. Information about the federal grand jury in November of 2023 to the media in response to a public records request, defendant's motion for sanctions and disqualification. The Commonwealth denied public records request as the federal rules of criminal procedure and federal case law dictate secrecy of grand jury proceedings. What am I reading wrong here? The defendant, the Commonwealth improperly released about the federal grand jury. They're talking about the one that's going on now.
Right. And they know they can't get that stuff.
Well, but they had the grand jury for Kare Read's indictments. I'd like to know how she got that. That's another
I'd
thing.
like to know how they got the transcripts from the grand jury too.
Yeah, because they were sealed.
Yeah, they always are. You can't get them.
Well, they did. The Commonwealth denied a public records request. Anyway, criminal procedure and federal case law dictate grand jury proceeding. Well, we got the ones for John Bonet's, the grand jury, finally, that they voted to indict the Ramseys. And that DA came out and said that he wasn't going to bring charges. That they said, is it no build? Commonwealth public records request is the federal rules of criminal procedure and federal case law. And that was, oh my God, the day that DA came out, Hunter, and said they weren't going to indict, it was so shocking to people. Like,
I honestly was shocked. I expected that announcement to be that they were.
Yes, and they were. They were. I mean, if you go on my blog and you click on the
How did they get it? Well, I guess with that old of a case, but I thought you could never get the grand jury transcript.
Trisha, I think maybe I'm wrong, but I thought she got and it could have been but I'm thinking because it came out that they did vote. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, I remember it came out that they did vote to indict, but the DA wouldn't do it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He came out and announced there was no indictment.
Right, but I didn't know. We didn't know that at first.
No, that was.
And I really thought he would when that press conference was called and he was making it. I thought he was going to announce their arrest.
No, yeah, I mean everybody did. We were so onto that case, and it was like 15 years, and then that other DA, the woman that was gonna. The guy that was in Amsterdam that said he did it.
Yeah.
Her name. And we knew he didn't.
Yeah, there was no way, but he ran with it for a while.
Yeah.
Until the DNA and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what is her name? God. She cleared the Ramseys. How do you clear them? No one should be cleared.
Yeah. There's no way they could have been 100% cleared.
No.
In all honesty, what I remember of the case, there was no solid proof that anybody was in that house.
No, there was none. Yes, Nicole, you'll have to read. I can't remember the tab. I've got like extensive research on that case.
Did you watch the Dr. Phil interview with the son? Was that not weird?
Yeah, I think he's autistic, and that's his like weird smile.
Yeah, it's just even Dr. Phil was even weird. I mean, it was just the whole thing was.
And did you see the interviews when he was a kid, when it first happened? And the psychologist interviewed him, and he was like, "Nice watch." You know, it's like that whole case was just bizarre. It was so infuriating, the things that they let them get by with.
There were so many mistakes, just blown off.
Yeah.
They totally ruined that case from the very minute it started.
Yeah, and I don't fault. It was kind of a sleepy town. It was a skeleton crew because
Yeah.
it was Christmas. And
Inexperienced.
well, he wasn't. I mean, people always say that, but that's just what came out. I mean, it wasn't that he was experienced.
Not him in general, but the department do it,
Yeah, they didn't know. Well, these were prominent people.
Right.
Like, you don't think there's going to be a dead child, and Patsy finds that note, which was incredibly stupid. But she finds that note, and it's like they kidnapped her. Well, that means they took her out of the house. You don't kidnap somebody, they go in the basement and leave her there. What's the point? Anyway, I could go on with that case for.
Oh yeah, one day we have to put together something with that, because
Oh yeah,
I think there's a lot that I've always wanted to say about that case.
Yeah. And I stopped following it like 2005, and it happened in 96. And I was kind of busy, but.
Well, I fell down the Sonda Arc case, and I finally have finished watching everything I could find so that I can get what I need out of it to do a live. But these women are nuts.
Yeah, I'll have to ask you about it. The Commonwealth did not release any information or correspondence with the U.S. Attorney's Office until after this court vacated a protective order, January 23rd, 2024. I don't get the whole protective order thing. I'm not familiar. So I guess it's the same as sealing something. Like you're
they're asking because, and they use the protective order status. I've seen this done in a couple cases. It's to try to keep any information from getting out, but they're going to sneak around and put it
like
out.
like a gag order.
Right. Only they don't come right out for a gag order. They try to use the pretense of it for protection.
Yeah, and then there's impounding information. I'm going to have to. Anyway, the defendant has failed to demonstrate. Have I already said that one? Attempts to obtain. Okay, the defendant has failed to demonstrate any prejudice as the letters detail Commonwealth's continuing attempts to obtain discovery. The letters were disclosed well in advance. The defendant has failed to demonstrate any prejudice. Fucking what? In discovery, the letters were disclosed. They're talking about the 8 letters or whatever.
Yeah.
Well in advance of the trial. The materials are expected to be produced by the U.S. Attorney's Office forthwith. I like that word. And contrary to representations made by the defendant, the letters pertain to subject matter the defendant has vast and superior knowledge about. Okay. Attorney Alan Jackson, what?
Now, I think that if he does roll over, I think there's going to be more arrests.
For
interference in the case, intimidation. I think that he's going to spill it all.
Well, according to this McDougal guy, McDonough, sorry, he says Natalie sent him the entire file with all the grand jury stuff and all this crap that he said was in it. And she was shopping around. I don't know. He never really got to the point on that. But for some reason, she was like distributing it to everybody. Anybody that would listen.
How did they get the grand jury's transcripts?
Yeah, I don't know how she got it.
I mean,
Karen gave it to her. And then she gave it because she was she was going between Turtle Boy and Karen. And then Karen got tired of doing that, I guess. And she went straight through Turtle Boy. Well, then Natalie, according to McDonough, felt irrelevant and tried to find other people to give this information to. So he's saying he got the entire file while Natalie was piecemealing it to Turtle Boy, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and says he had the whole file. That glare, that's the one I keep wanting to go over. y'all need to, I'm not trying to advertise him because ew, but but it's an interesting cringe interview. Like it showcases the ignorance of this whole thing. Like he's got some kind of influence. Somebody in chat said, Turtle Boy's an influencer. Yeah, I think you could call him that. I don't think you could call Betty an influencer, but they kept doing it on that show. But
yeah, she's not an influencer. What does she influence?
Girl, I do not know.
Those stupid cheap T-shirts that they sell for $30 that are $2.99 at Dollar Tree.
Yeah, what she have on in that meeting? Something about Quentin.
Mommy, why wasn't I enough?
Oh yeah. So the defendant's tactical decision to allege wrongdoings by the Commonwealth is conveniently premised on the defendant and counsel's own misconduct and ethical violations. It is now evident there are numerous false statements. God, what is wrong? Numerous false statements made by defense counsel, including those. I guess I need to change my context. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Those contained within, and then down my mouse is moving without my help. Defense counsel, including those contained within this motion for disqualification, previously filed defense motions that were knowingly made to, somebody should just do it in layman's terms, like summarize without going through this torment. Following an investigation conducted by us. Have you ever heard Justin read these?
Oh my! I lasted.
You can't put them. You can't make it fast enough.
I lasted maybe 3 minutes. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hang with them. It's
Following an investigation conducted. I'm just like, nope. So this must have been important because I put a red thing here.
Yeah.
Conducted by a special prosecutor, the Commonwealth has recently learned that for months, the defendant, God, I keep losing my place. Attorney Alan Jackson and attorney David Yannetti have secretly conspired to perpetrate fraud upon the court through reckless mistruth, deceit, and hiding behind a social media blogger, and he hates when people call him a blogger, who has been criminally charged with intimidation of witnesses, direct and encourage the harassment of those witnesses. Sheila, what the hell are you doing?
Where's Sheila?
God, she's scratching something.
Watch, Sheila. Your mom's going to put you in timeout.
She knows I can't even get to her. So David Yannetti have secretly conspired to perpetrate fraud upon the court through reckless mistruth. And I think that's what I put that other video in there for. In the defendant's motion to disqualify, this is saying the same thing. However, for months, the defendant counsel have engaged in a concerted effort to use Mr. Kearney as a literal bullhorn to say what they could not and to disseminate information and opinions counsel knows will have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing the proceedings. God, are we on? It's 25 pages, y'all.
Yeah, it's a lot and a lot of.
Okay, but what it says in essence, because I'm not going to keep going, is that Morrissey did nothing wrong. The defense did everything wrong. And all the shit with Kearney just proves it. And so you can't sanction the Commonwealth because somewhere down here it says they used a Supreme Court case to file the sanctions.
Yeah. This is nothing but deflection, drag out, deflection.
Yeah. So on April 18th, I just want to read this part.
Go ahead.
Canton, so that's Turtle Boy did his first story, Canton Cover Up Part 1. And that was the video that I started playing. He wrote the story that he does at YouTube. Cover up the murder of fellow officer to frame an innocent girlfriend. Okay. That's not possible. That is not possible that they would cover it up by framing her. How is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, there were so many other avenues that would have been so much easier.
Well, and how would they know she was going to come back?
Exactly. And they could have, if they were, he was very intoxicated. He left to go, because they thought his ride came, and it's storming, it's snowing, it's a snowstorm, it's freezing. There's just, to go to the extreme to pick his girlfriend, who you had no idea was even going to come back around.
Coming back.
Yeah.
In the article, Mr. Kearney writes, none of this information has been made public, and the Norfolk County DA's office, you can't believe how bad my eyes are right now, hasn't sent a mountain of exculpatory evidence to Karen Read's defense attorney until recently, and further describes the impressions of defense counsel as shocked to discover evidence wrongly claimed to have been hidden from the defense. That didn't make a bit of fucking sense.
And you know what? Come on. This is nothing but, as far as one side complaining and not getting the evidence in time and all that stuff. That's standard crap. And I mean, yeah, that's
happens in every discovery back and forth. But here they're talking about Kearney, like, if you don't know about, what happened with the search warrant and everything that was found out, the defendant had instructed the intermediary, which is Natalie, to communicate. And here's the other thing, okay? I got an opinion on this. So Natalie says one day she woke up and saw Karen Read's name being charged. I don't know if it was the murder or the manslaughter, with killing her boyfriend. And she went and found Karen on Facebook. Okay, this woman lives, I think, in California. Karen Read lives in Boston, or outside of Boston. Why is she getting like some story that isn't national news? Maybe she was going through, but she didn't say that she was going through Facebook, but I could see that, like, if she had mutual friends or whatever, but they hadn't spoken since high school. And then you're going to give her this woman you haven't even spoken to since high school.
And you're going to give her all this. Yeah. Just like with them claiming all of a sudden those two women that were supposedly lawyers, supposedly paralegals, were volunteering out of nowhere for that. But come on, they were not. That was so bullshit.
Yeah, maybe Natalie is someone that Jackson knows.
Could be.
And he set that up. Yeah, you can say, I don't know if anybody's, like, they will now really investigate
but even then, though, you're going to send her all that information. You don't know her. It just.
And you don't know Turtle Boy.
At all.
Yeah, so they went through.
Because you're giving him money doesn't mean you can trust him.
And nobody talks about the Lexus that was, what, 60 grand?
Mm-hmm. Paid out for her.
Yeah, so Natalie gets in touch with this. I'm trying to think of, well, I'm older, but I mean someone from high school, but you don't know that well. And then she finds that other woman, what's her name? Jennifer something, Atwater or something. So she finds her just because she was writing under a news story positive about Karen. And then she says, oh, I know this blogger. Why don't you talk to him? Sure. I'll just send you all the stuff. You send it to people I really don't know. And my life's on the line. No.
Yeah. No. It just doesn't make.
No, it did not happen that way.
No.
Jackson had to know somebody. Somebody knew somebody to make up that ridiculous story.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious because I would do it. In fact, I may do it tomorrow to just kind of try to follow that timeline. Like, see if that girl is on, and I'm sure the Commonwealth has. I'm sure they have so much shit because they know.
Well, let's hope they have, because they're gonna have,
they have it now.
They're gonna have to come out with. They're gonna have to do their work in this case, because they're, the defense is.
Well, and then she was using that, and I'm not familiar, the phone program that erases every time.
Yeah, I heard that.
So why is she using that? Well, I could see if she's sending the grand jury stuff, but she would only talk to him on something that doesn't sound like a guilty person, right? Everything she did screams guilty.
I wonder if they could get in trouble for passing around the grand jury's transcript.
I don't know if it's like, if you were in possession, it would be the person that gave it to you. I think how they obtained it. And I'm sure Jackson, I don't know how he would
There's no way they're going to pass them out, especially with the case being ongoing and the trial not happening. But I mean, I don't believe the grand jury would put them out with a FOIA request. I don't think you could get them.
No, but Jackson has been talking to Josh Levy, he says, or Yannetti says. So,
I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I just,
they were sealed.
You can't get them.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying, Jackson may have given them, maybe Jackson doesn't even, I don't know. Oh, they'll know. They're going to go through those phone records, and they're going to know.
They're going to have to. Now they're going to really have to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And if they want a conviction, they're going to have to really do the work because of what the defense has done.
I'm sure they have. But now that the feds are going to release information on their investigation, they're going to have even more to go over. Even the Commonwealth said that we'll have more to go over. But in this one part where Yannetti says, okay.
I'm curious about what the feds are going to put out, what their reports are going to state.
I just strongly feel they are not investigating the law enforcement. I think they were doing the same investigation. And I think Josh Levy probably maybe heard the story and thought, wow, what a boost for my career this would be, because they just busted some big drug ring.
Right. And if they were investigating the police, there would have been charges if their investigation's complete. If they found anything, they wouldn't just say, okay, well, we found all this evidence and they're guilty and she's not.
And we're going to share it with you.
We're not going to say anything. We're not going to do anything.
No, and those investigations take years.
Yeah.
But here's part of that.
These people were sloppy with their phones and they were sloppy.
Yeah, pretty much. And they think they're not, they get to the point where they just think they can keep going. I think they were probably watching Turtle Boy. They're not nearly as dumb as we think they are.
Oh, hell no.
And it always comes out in trial. Like, we spend a year, and it happens in a lot of cases, we're thinking, oh my God, they're so dumb. Why aren't they? I love it when I'll see people go, do you think they checked for blood on the floor or some stupid thing? Like, yeah, they're pretty competent. Now they have technology that would blow your mind. But I think they were probably onto him because he got by with a lot of crap.
A lot.
So patient, just like Jen and her husband. He had to be thinking, yeah, you're going to get yours, buddy. That, just keep thinking, don't hit him because, he'll get his.
Yeah, most people wouldn't have been able to handle that like that. I know I would have lost control if somebody came to my kid's sporting event. I know I would have.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I know my husband would have.
Yeah, you don't screw with my kid.
Yeah.
Either Chad is stopped or my thing is stopped. So
It's YouTube's been doing that. It depends. I haven't been on a lot today or last night, but the last few days, I've had to keep going back out and coming back in. Chat keeps freezing up.
So this says, well, if you can see it, the last one I see is leave it to Beaver. And it says, no problem, Daisy. Is that the same for you?
Yes. And I just.
Weird.
Yeah, now it's moving.
So the defendant would put disclaimers or directives on certain pieces of evidence, such as denoting do not share, urgent, do not publish. Oh my God, I can't read the report. But here it says, make it clear Mr. Kearney did not get it from us. Don't show, oh, this is what Karen was saying. Don't show the exhibits, just read them. Please tell him, this is what she's telling the intermediary. Please tell him not to share the title. It has Yanetti's initials. So that's where they had to have gotten it, referring to David R. Yanetti.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Call detail records from Mr. Kearney's phone also revealed that phone numbers associated with Yanetti, Jackson, and Kearney. Oh, this got me at least 29 times.
Wow.
So they were talking, these attorneys were talking with him 29 times.
That's a lot. That's probably more than they talk to their client.
Of note, on July 14, 2023, the defendant filed a similar motion seeking the recusal of presiding, I don't remember that, Justice, now it's a blur, Beverly Canone, where the unsubstantiated motion was premised on an affidavit submitted by Mr. Kearney. See Exhibit 1. An affidavit submitted by Kearney.
Affidavit submitted by.
Now, why would he submit an affidavit? We'll read the red box. But what happens in the dark always comes to light. I guess that was just a thought he had. In the Commonwealth's motion to prohibit extrajudicial statements, Commonwealth referenced May 3rd, an incident where the courthouse stairs. Oh, okay, I got that one. On the courthouse stairs, Attorney Jackson encouraged those gathered outside. Anyway, he tells them, like, ask questions and points at Turtle Boy and says, and you ask questions. So Commonwealth is making a big deal out of that, saying it's like the Trump thing, like he was inciting them to go and terrorize the witnesses.
Well,
so,
he did do that.
He did do that, but they say they will say he didn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Let me go over here.
The glare swears to God he's totally innocent and being framed.
But what we don't know is who delivered that fatal blow. So someone in the house did do that. That is a fact, not an opinion. Let's go.
We're not going to stop and be
Here it
recording
is.
tomorrow and in the weeks to come and in the months to come. This is now our fight. Karen's fight has become all of our fight.
This is, they'll, like several pundits on like Court TV or whatever will say he did not say this, and he clearly says it.
For some sort of justice. My suggestion is you folks can play a part in this. Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I have been.
I know you do. Let me give you some examples. Here's some questions that you might want to think about asking. Why did Jennifer McCabe Google search how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning, 3.5 hours before she would have any reason to believe that John O'Keefe was dying in the cold in front of Brian Albert?
How would she have no reason to believe it if she was part of putting him out there?
Yeah.
That didn't make sense, Jackson.
How about that for a question?
So what he meant by that, though, he was saying is, why would she be searching that if she didn't, believe there was anything, wrong? You know what I mean? That's what he was meaning. I think that's how he meant to say it, even though it didn't come out that way.
But she did it. He's saying she did it at 2:30. Why would she have any reason? Isn't that what he said? Why would she have any reason to do it?
Yeah, but he was asking it like he was making a speech to well, think about it. Why would she do that? And then
if she
really think it's what she's saying because she had no reason. Yeah.
If she what? Yeah, I got it.
Scrub her phone. Why did she take the time to scrub her phone before she turned it into the police? Why did she delete any and all reference to her communications with Brian Albert on the 29th, on the 28th? Why did she go to the efforts to do that kind of thing? Here's another question. Why did Brian Albert get rid of the dog? Why did Brian Albert get rid of the basement floor? Why did Brian Albert get rid of the house? They say that a fish rots from the head first. Let's start with Proctor, Michael Proctor, who's conflicted in this case because he has deep family ties to the very people that he should be looking at as a suspect. How about asking him a few hard questions? For instance.
And so you have this attorney who the average person thinks is telling the truth, right? Like he's working these people up to go out and terrorize the people he's just named.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
I got the same take on it too.
And people are so gullible. I swear to God. We see it in chat rooms every day. You see a creator, you see most of the chat, I would say 80%, go against, or they'll go with whatever the creator is saying. Like Kathy Pizza, she's this and she's that. Oh yeah, she is. I've never liked her. I see this all the time. I've never liked her. I've always, and then they're in your chat saying you're the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got another chat that's lukewarm and you're lukewarm.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't think it's gullible. I think
they just go with the flow.
They go with the flow and they want to be part of something.
Whatever's going on. Yeah, you're
whatever's
right.
going on. And I think these
and
people,
I do see that. I'll see, comments
It's
people will
incredible.
make, and then they'll come in my chat. I'm like, huh?
you just called me a bitch 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you have the ones that, and I get it. I mean, I get it because you get caught up in the chat. I've said shit. I'll say,
Yeah, I don't hold it against nobody.
yeah. And then half the time I forget I even said it. It was just going quickly and you're talking and people talk shit in a chat just like they do in a PM, direct message.
Well, what cracks me up is people will be screenshotting it and taking it out of context, saying it means something completely different than what it meant because you were actually commenting on what the creator was talking about.
But I think people are really getting, I know I am. I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the back and forth because I will like there's 3 creators fighting right now and I like all 3 of them. But I feel weird going in any of their chats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you think, well, the other creator I like doesn't like this one. So what are they? And they're all looking. They're all like watching, even though they say, I don't tell anyone where to go or where they can go and chat.
You still know you're being watched in there.
Well, you can't, I can say that and I mean it, but it still bothers me. It'll still bother me, but
because they can all have good points and they can also have done their own share of the ish. And so it is what it is, Yeah. It's like you feel stuck in the middle.
Yeah. I kind of feel like chatters though, we shouldn't go after. If somebody's been on a panel or if they're a creator, then yeah. That's okay if everybody wants, or the other creators. I don't think it's good. Everybody's fighting, but
no,
not the chatters. I mean, there are people going chat by chat by chat.
Oh yeah, and they get nasty vile.
And it's bad because then people feel uncomfortable even being in your chat. When all that shit happens.
I don't think anybody should be calling anybody a pedo. I don't think anybody should be tearing apart anybody's career choices.
No, and it snowballs. There are people, I don't even think they remember. There are a couple of creators that said some bad shit about me. And their chat was saying bad shit, like it was on fire. And they don't really even remember probably what I'm sure one of them doesn't really remember what they said. What was my point? But you remember. It's like the person, and it's just,
catches on and people don't have proof and they're going by what
And it
they
just-
heard over here.
And more gets added as it passes on from person to person, from
Yeah, and
chat
then they
to
forget
chat.
about it. Yeah, it's like they just forget about it. But what chat has to remember and what creators have to remember is it is still there.
Yep.
Even though you forget about it, you forgot you said it, people go back and they're reading chat and they're watching the video and it's still there. So that person,
90% of the time, it's all blown up to be more than it is and
it
taken way out
is
of context.
the
And
person
it's
you're
just a
talking
simple
about.
comment. Yeah.
I think until it happens to you, until that happens to it, and I've seen it a lot where they're like, and I've even said it big time, that it makes you rethink what you say, especially as a creator. It makes you think about what you say, because I know that comments a lot of times will hurt someone more than what the creator's even saying.
Right.
Because
and that's why I'm very careful. I don't attack no one's career. I don't, I don't go personal life on them. I don't call people.
Well, I do. If they come after me.
Well, that's a different story. But I mean, I don't do it just to go along with chat. But I will voice my opinion. And sometimes people take it out to me more than what it means. And it's like, stop following people around. Stop screenshotting chats. Stop making chats your content. It's ridiculous. Leave the subs alone. Let people feel free. As long as they're not coming at your real life and coming at you, you know what I mean, and doing behind the scenes ish. Why are you doing that? Why are you following people around and screenshotting everything they say? That's ridiculous.
Well, and if you genuinely don't feel what the creator is saying, it's okay to be quiet. You don't have to be quiet, but talk about something else. You can still be in chat, and that creator will feel that.
Yeah.
They will feel.
And I'll be honest, when there's slamming going on, I leave. I don't want to hear it. I leave. It doesn't matter whose chat it is.
You can send a message, not outwardly, but like Crimes in Fashion is really good at this. She'll just talk about something else.
I love Lisa.
I do too. But anyway, the chatter should be left alone. Whatever they do, because I think it's funny. Like now, I think it's funny. Didn't think it was funny 5 months ago, but
right.
But
well,
now,
to an extent, when does it become too harsh though? When there's the person in chat. I mean, if someone is repeatedly calling someone a pedo and stuff like that, with no proof of anything, just running their mouth, but saying it repeatedly, that stuff needs to stop.
Yeah, but I don't see. I mean, we know Laura has called everyone.
Oh yeah,
everyone. No one.
Her. They give her an excuse. I've seen it said where we all know she runs her mouth. So what, does that make it okay?
No, it doesn't. But
I heard her tell someone she was going to go after their friends' kids and her kids. I heard her just say that the other day.
Yeah, she said it for years. But that's up to the person she's saying, because I promise you, you can white knight for that person she's saying about it. And then then you turn around and you see them like up on their panel. Or you know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird dynamic. Like Laura said shit to me and I've been on her panel. But I'm not asking people to go have my back.
Well, I also don't think subs, a chatter, should be allowed to attack someone's family either.
Absolutely. Laura shouldn't. But you got to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she does it to you, do something about it. The problem is YouTube doesn't really, it's weird who they will. Did you know Glare got morbid demonetized?
Yeah. He's blaming the Glare, burnt toast.
It was the Glare. Glare admits it. And he said, he points at himself and he goes, "It was me, buddy."
Oh, well, good for you, Glare.
Glare, who said when Molly got taken off, he would never do that. He's okay with other people. If that's what you want to do. It's just not me.
Yeah.
I remember clearly.
And Glare's got his share that he could have lost his monetization if anybody pushed it and they didn't.
And I agree with him. Unless they're doing,
Like the mass flagging does not work. People think it does. But he had a personal conversation with YouTube, Team YouTube. And I guess he talked, but Morbid has other channels. I mean, I'm a sub to one of his other ones that I like. And it
Well,
has
he said that his big one he had to take down because of them, all them Discord videos that dude was putting out.
Put together, yeah. Yeah,
I think there needs to be someone in chat should not be allowed to sit in chat and totally attack someone and call them, like I said, pedos and threaten their children, you know, or it works both ways. But the other day, like for instance, Laura wonders why everybody gets so mad with her at her. We're not even mad, but just, you know, enough. She's always confused about what's going on because she knows very little detail. She doesn't take the time to actually listen to what's going on. She was, for instance, she was reviewing Makeup Mobsters live the other day, and she called my comment out twice.
I saw that.
She
Is she
said
the one that went off on you?
No, all she did was say I didn't know what I was talking about. Because we were talking about candles, not hers, because I don't do that. If they're talking about that stuff, I don't partake. They were talking about Makeup was talking about a Tom Ford candle that was $120. I said that's way too much to spend for a candle. So Laura said that I said it about her candles. No, ma'am. You clearly didn't watch, because at that very moment we were talking about a Tom Ford candle. And if you go down 2 comments, I put $120, you know, that's what we were talking about. I never said 2 words about Laura's candles.
But does she have $120 candles?
Oh, I don't know. We were talking about a Tom Ford candle.
Oh, that's a lot for a candle.
Yeah. Makeup was talking about how much they cost and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what Laura's cost. Oh, no, Laura said that I didn't know what I was talking about because $35 isn't too much. Well, I don't know what you charge for your candles, honestly.
Well, I think a lot of times people buy that stuff just because they're being supportive.
And I wasn't talking about you, and neither was anybody else at that specific part of the live. We were talking about something else.
I know. That's how she
But
is.
she doesn't, and she runs with the misinformation. She proceeded to call out the whole chat. And I wasn't there for the whole thing, so I left a little while after that. So I didn't.
Called somebody out. Can't remember who it was.
Sarah. Just recently?
Well, and she was wrong. And then like 15 minutes of her chat telling her she was wrong, and that person had left. Then she says, oh, sorry. I can't remember who it was or what it was about. But she waited. And that's the thing. When your chat is telling you that's wrong, that's like 5 people are saying you're wrong, then, you know, Miss I read all my chat should listen.
Well, I left her a comment. I didn't get a response though.
And she reads all of them. And he says, like, when a creator, I've seen this before, it's so funny, reads a comment out loud and viewers see their opinion. I have clipped creators that I thought that's what they said, and I'm like, oh my God. And then thank God I didn't put it up. But yeah, you have to say who you're calling out. Granny does that a lot. When Tiffany Marie and Molly fell out, I watched back and forth as it happened. Yes, and watched subs entirely misinterpret what was said and inflame it horribly.
But she was reading the chat instead of actually reviewing the live. She didn't watch the live, she claims. If she didn't watch it, she should have never reviewed the chat because she has no idea what was being said. Now, I can't speak for anybody else, and I can't speak what happened after that because I had an appointment, so I had left. But don't call someone out and say they're stupid and don't know what they're talking about, and $35 isn't too much for a candle. Wasn't talking about a $35 candle. We were talking about a $120 Tom Ford candle.
I know, but you're getting way too excited. She does
No,
that.
I'm laughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because she's probably called me an idiot like 5 times.
Oh, yeah. I don't care about that. I thought it was
Well,
funny.
no, I did care. I mean, the first time it happened, I was like, damn, she'll do it to members. But now I don't know. I don't say anything. That's what it comes down to. People will just stop, talking to you.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
And it's me, Amberly says, I've been in chat with lots I don't like, and I respect the creators. Chat, and it's not that you're not writing correctly, it's me, I can't see. Bite my tongue, but I don't communicate behind the scenes. Yeah, neither. And I do the same thing. I'll go in and ignore people that, don't like me or whatever. But if I like the creator and, the creator is respectful, then, and a lot of times it depends on content. Like I could not resist the Kendrick Johnson conversation that Laura was having with Chasing. There's no way I could not go up on that panel. I haven't done any candy or, eaten any candy, I should say.
Yeah, it's me. Amberly's a really good mod, by the way.
I did put out Dolly coming up on your panel amidst, because it was on my panel. Dolly was trying to get on my panel during all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Crap. He never got up. PJ got up. But Dolly was right behind her, yelling while she was talking. And that was just a nightmare. Everybody misinterpreted. No, nobody. Okay, I'm going to stop this right now.
Okay, who's talking?
No, I'm just saying, because I don't want anybody to say when all that was happening, I don't go back and look at what people were saying. Please don't think that, because like I said, you're getting information, you think it's true. It was a fiasco that I never want to revisit. And looking back at it though, Kathy, I'm thinking, I saw somebody else talking about something that had happened to them, and I thought, God, that's ridiculous for people to get so mad at something that, one, was so long ago, but it's stupid. Like when I look at it now, I'm thinking, how dumb. It's just like people want a reason to get mad.
They do. They do.
And
they want
like
a reason to have drama, to have the fighting.
Yeah, because
there's
really,
a lot of people that like the drama, the constant back and bickering, back and forth and stuff.
And the only thing, like, I try to think of what would get me so worked up that I would go from chat to chat and create and watch it all and listen to all the bullshit. I couldn't do it unless it was like someone that hurt children. But it would have to be pretty big for me to get that invested in it. And most people didn't. But to me, it felt like everybody did. You know what I mean? It felt like everybody upset. And then, but I don't go back. I mean, there are people, and really kind of very few. And then what happens is there were two other creators that just kept on. Like they would go into, if I like even showed up in chat, they would start posting, oh my God, she's in here. Why are you talking to her? Why are you? And that lasted for a little bit. And then people just went, oh, fuck it. And if you're the one with the message that, oh my God, look what I found. Look who she is, or who I think she is. And you will find your fame is very short-lived. It's never appreciated for very long. And I think that person realizes that, because give me the, everybody wants it, but then you're the one that would do that to somebody else too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the messenger isn't really trusted, but people want the message. Like, sure, we'll take it. Did you tell me I would have been with you? Kind of. I did. Actually, it's kind of hard for me to get to right now. And I went through my one candy bar lasted me 3 months. Like I would take
you're
half of a half
You
Because
take
I'm a
little
lightweight.
tiny bites.
I don't even know how you even measure whatever it says on the outside of it. I think I have one right here. Let me see what it said.
I like my gummies.
Okay, well, is everything called a gummy?
No, I make gummies. I make my own.
You do? You're a manufacturer?
They're really easy to make.
Okay, so this says what does it say? Where do I even find it? Total THC for the package is 100 milligrams. The total servings are 10. So that would be
10 milligrams a section.
And so I take half of that, of a section.
You take 5 milligrams?
Yeah. Is that good, bad?
Well, no, if that's what it takes. If that's
No, but
all
I mean, is that like not a lot?
No, honestly.
I mean,
no.
I got one of those vapes. Girl, I just went to try to see if it works, like do that puff that you blow back out.
Mhm.
And I got high as fuck. Like, just on that. I didn't even really take like a whole thing of it.
Well, that's good. It don't take you much.
Yeah, it's gonna last me forever.
Yeah.
It is a small dose. Girl, I can't imagine, because I just lay here pondering, and everybody sounds smart. And so intelligent, like their voices sound great. I'm mesmerized by them. But I can't do anything. Like, I can't function.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I'm glad y'all know how much it is. This topic I can discuss with knowledge. Nicole, I wished it would make me feel like.
You can get different strains now at the dispensaries.
Yeah, that's where this came from. But it's like sativa, I think there's one that makes you sleepy, and one I like the more makes me awake so I can research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind I like. I would like to come on here after eating like part of the candy. There is no fucking way. No way. I would sit here holding my mouth, staring. Imagine 3 ounces a month. That's
Stone, you'd have people firing up lives for a month.
I know. No telling what I'd say. But no, I'm the same way when I drink, like when I used to drink enough to get drunk. I love everybody, and do edibles on vacation. It's just, see, I couldn't do a lot because then I would really be a vegetable. It's not doing that the sativa is what I got. Yeah. It's not making me feel, I hate to think what the other would do. Yeah, Nicole, when I would drink, I would be, oh, I love you, and then I'm asleep. Like I would stay awake for the entertainment. I'm a loving drinker. And then
You're a happy drunk.
Yeah. But I knew someone, I was very close to someone that was a mean drunk. Like, I didn't know you thought that. You hated me.
Yeah, mean drunks aren't fun.
Mean drunks are.
I said mean drunks.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Mean drunks are bad news. That go to the dark side. I have a couple of friends. Do you think they're saying what they really mean when they get bad drunk? Because I don't really love the people that I tell I love when I'm drunk. Like, I wouldn't tell them that. Like, I don't feel it. So it's not like something that's coming out.
With some, yeah. In some cases, I'd have to say, yeah.
Huh. So 5 is like normal. Somebody said that.
Yeah, that's really, that's low dose. Yeah, it really is. Good for you.
How much is an ounce? So Catherine said, imagine 3 ounces a month. So
yeah, I do. But yeah, I do. Well, you figure I get the oil, the tincture, and I can make out of one syringe, I can make, depending on how strong I make them, which that's why I like to make them, because I can make them the way I want them.
How many milligrams is an ounce? Like how much? So she's saying
32 grams. So listen to me. I can't be talking about this stuff.
I'm just what? Yeah. See, somebody said sativa is an upper, Nicole.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be considered an upper if you're like all.
But I don't know. See, it just doesn't do that for me. But
Me
I like
neither.
sativa better. But
That's what I'm saying. Sativa.
But
That's
there's
what I have.
different strains of it that you can get. Like there's an indica. Indica makes you tired. I don't know. It makes me tired.
Yes, I am familiar with the ounce of pot, the dry leaf. So that's what you're talking about. I know how much. I mean, girl, I used to.
Oh, I didn't know you'd chat.
It was a while ago, but I remember how it is. God, remember when it was so like you would never ever say you had any of it. Granny's and Heels weed
recipe hour.
I don't know. You know, the jerk started, and I kind of think I think I like the name. What do they call me? Slippers. Slippers. Yeah. You know, they're being assholes, but I think it's cute. I like it. Slippers in the air.
That is kind of cool. It's kind of catchy.
Yeah. What is she saying? Flowers and stuff. And see, I don't get the flowers. I don't know any of that. All I know is the only way I used to ever see it was the leaf.
Right.
And then all the gummies started. And I mean, why wouldn't you just do the oil?
Well, they call it flour at the dispensaries, even though it's little buds, or if you get it, you can already get it cleaned and chopped up for you. But yeah, they call it flour at the dispensaries.
Really?
Yeah.
So a bud is a flower?
Yeah, they call it flour.
Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, if you wear.
We're educating everybody tonight.
Yes, Autumn, exactly. Because you're old. Because I'm old. You
yeah,
know,
you can get it already ground up for you.
I mean, people. It's like it's like
I told that tube top wearing travesty. I'm 60 and proud 60 here. That tube top travesty thinks that I'm insulted because she calls me old. Oh, honey, I'm proud. I'm 60 proud here.
It's insulting if you mean it in an insulting way. I don't know how else you would mean it when you just go, you know, you're old. It's like, girl, I don't care how old I get. I'm still going to be smarter than you.
Better than you.
You know,
well, she's always making fun of my age and telling me I belong in a nursing home and stuff. So just because of all this shit, and she brought up my kids again in her community post. So I used one of those age progression things with a picture of hers on what she would look like because she called me 80 in her last post. So I had it do, instead of the 60, I had her do it, and had them do it like, I put it like 70 to 80 range, and I compare it. I'm like, damn. I look better.
Those things are bad.
I put it up. I said, this is what she possibly could look like. So who's looking bad? Because for 60, almost 61, I look pretty damn good compared to you.
Yeah, and like Anna Renee, it's ageist. That is against TOS. If you look at TOS,
that always tells me I'm in a nursing home. Then she brought up my kids again, saying I didn't know you had kids and all this other shit. So I had to show, video clips.
You know, we should do a whole, like, probably 30 minutes. I can't see we get more out of it, but like I'll see people, you hear it all the time. Y'all are so wrapped up in this and blah, blah, blah. Go touch grass. Well, there are people that can't go touch grass. And for them, it's insulting. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't you just fucking behave and stop being nasty?
Yeah.
And then we don't have to go, touch grass.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I don't bother them people unless they put out a bunch of shit or she makes a post saying something about my children. Then that's when I come back at her, but I don't
yeah,
come back
that'll
at her
be
with bullshit. I come back out with receipts, which I showed, you know,
yeah, no, my
and then I
kid,
walk away. I'm done.
when all that 10 years ago, when all that shit was going on, my daughter was more like at risk. But now she'll cut a bitch.
Yeah.
So go on with your bad self. But yeah.
All I can do is show how much she lies. If you can't see it, and I
Oh
can't
God,
help you.
awful. Why do you even go over there?
Oh no, I wasn't over there. I was sent the post, and she said something. So, I'm only gonna let you call me a liar so much, and I'm only gonna let you go after my kids so much before I
But why
bite
are
back
you
on
even
you.
doing it? Why are you even on her radar?
Because of the Marwan and Dre and
Oh, way
Molly
back
stuff.
then.
Oh yeah, it's never stopped.
Good God. Were you and Nanya on the same side on that?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
nonsense. I thought so. I think so.
Yeah, because they were, I was too, for Dre. I wasn't. Sheila, hold on. I got to mute this so I can yell like a crazy person. Okay, so.
But, yeah, she's been dying. They've been dying to try to get someone to do the constant back and forth every day, and nobody will.
She's boring.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
there's
she really
nothing.
is boring. She doesn't
I let
have
her.
the skills to do what she's trying to do. Burnt toast when covering the art, plagiarism stuff. Beta came in, but said she couldn't click the link. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was so bullshit.
Yeah,
The
that
girl
was.
said she had nothing to do with that. She wasn't a part of the mod call. She didn't even know it existed. Called me a flat out liar. Said I made it up. I have the entire mod call. She was there talking with Steve and everybody else. You can see her even signed in.
Oh, that
It's
guy.
her voice. So what I did is I just showed the receipts and I left it at that. She needs to stop because
Well, I don't know why. We'll just ignore her.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I do till she gets
But
too much.
she was bad when I don't even, what was going on? That Veda and that Steve, oh my God, we were getting emails and
I am still. I'm still getting them.
I ignored her. I mean, what is she going to do?
With voice clips.
Right, but I mean, she can't take her fat ass to your daughter. I didn't mean to say fat ass. I just mean, I say that, but I've never seen her ass, so I wouldn't know. But what is she going to do? Nothing.
Your guess is as good as mine. I just think
see, I know how it
people's
feels,
kids
though.
out of it. That's all I'm saying. Leave people's kids out of it.
Yeah.
You can poke all you want. I'm not going to do the back and forth with you every day. I'm just not going to do it.
She's not going to really. I hear people say so-and-so went after my kids. Even the people 10 years ago.
She puts them in her community post.
They're not going to really do it. They're not going to do it.
Oh, no. I'm not worried about her coming here.
Yeah, they're going to talk about it, but they're not. But I know how it feels because I felt the
But
same
then
way.
again, you know what, Hills? We really can't say that 100% for sure.
Well,
we don't really know these people. You don't really know them, and you don't really truly know who they're connected to.
I think if I did something so bad that they could justify doing something, because with all the cameras and I don't know. I just think you would have to be.
She does think she's justified. That's just it. She really thinks that she's justified when nothing's been done to her. Not by me.
It's because you're paying attention to it. She needs somebody.
Only
Nobody
when I
pays
have to.
attention to her.
Yeah.
She accidentally.
Well, you give it up because I'm not doing the back and forth every day. I pay attention to it when I have to, which isn't that often.
Just block her. That's what I did with Claire.
Oh, she is.
She accidentally showed a video by local realtors to Nonsense's town one day. Accidentally showed she was watching during.
Yep, looking up real estate where Nonsense moved to and stuff. Oh, yes.
Why? Like, why does she keep on with Nonsense?
Because She says that Nonsense done all this stuff to her, but Nonsense has never done a damn thing to that woman. Not a damn thing.
No,
she said
she
she
hasn't.
harassed Letitia. Nonsense did not. And she said she set Letitia up for a scam GoFundMe. Nonsense did none of that. She's accused Nonsense of everything you can think of.
Yeah, her and Steve used to come after me for nonsense all the time, but whatever. I'm going to close this because how long have we been on here? A long time.
Yeah.
And people just really want to they just want to hear, about the case. So I can close it and come back if y'all want to come back on another live. But I just don't think we should keep this one going.
Yeah.
Good night, Amber.
The drama with I agree.
So say good night if you don't want another one, and because I'm awake.
Yeah, me too.
Good night, Nicole B. Okay, well, I'm going to close it down, and we can come back or not, or we can do one tomorrow because I want to go over the that Marissa. Did you say you looked her up? You'll come back, Nicole? Oh, okay. Well, some people are saying good night. I think maybe is Whispers on right now?
I don't know. I don't. Usually not on the weekends.
Oh, it is the weekend.
Yeah.
TGIF. Okay, well, we'll come back and just see. What do I do for the thumbnail? Just say
whatever
bullshit.
You want to, or put a question mark.
Okay, well, let's end this one. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Okay. All
Come
right.
back in 5 minutes.
All right.
Okay, let me see how we do this. We'll do this one. Not yet. Damn it. Hold on. If you've gotten this far, my apologies. Here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat a piece of chocolate before we come back. Good night. I'll be right back and get my chocolate. Everybody get your chocolate.